My name is Vikas Gora. I am the grandson of Gora and Saraswati, and welcome you all from various parts of India and from across the world to this unique milestone of Gora's 120th and Saraswati Gora's 110th Birth Anniversary International Conference. This international conference is going to be on the theme Atheism, Secular Thought and Social Action. The 3-day event is going to be action-packed with various discussions, plenaries, field visits, experiences shared by activists as well as organizations. It will be a great learning experience as well for us because we'll be hearing stories of change, stories of transformation, stories of concern, and stories that depict how people have been targeted for having secular, atheistic and humanist views as well. So today we stand here in this historic moment and we would like to inaugurate it with a welcome dance by Vasavya Nitya Vihar of Vasav Mahila Mandali, and the welcome song was written by Mrs. Hemalata Lavanam. It's in Telugu and the dance will be performed by the students of Vasav Nitya Vihar. Shubha Swagatam కోటివారి కష్టమరసి సాయమిచ్చు భావము కోటివారి కష్టమరసి సాయమిచ్చు భావము స్వాగతం 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 స్వాగతం. మానవతకు స్వాగత గీతం మానవతకు స్వాగత గీతం పెగ్గులు అసమానతలు పెగ్గులు అసమానతలు అంతని మనసులకు కృపావన అంతని మనసులకు కృపావన స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం.
అనురాగమూర్తులకు స్వాగతం అనురాగమూర్తులకు స్వాగతం ఉత్సవం కరుదించిన ఎల్లరికి స్వాగతం మహోత్సవమున కరుదించిన ఎల్లరికి స్వాగతం
I request the teacher, మీరు ఇక్కడే ఉన్నాడు ఒకసారి, and the dance master Sharma garu to please come onto the dais. He has been associated with our family for close to 1980s and designed various ballets, dance ballets on various themes. He himself is a very well noted dancer, and thank you very much for a wonderful performance. Thank you. Now I request Annapurna Raghupati Rao garu. Annapurna garu is and Raghupati Rao garu is no more, and both the couple have been in the forefront of promoting secular values as well as humanistic lifestyles. So she will be singing a song in Telugu as well as in English. So please welcome her with a round of applause.
Welcome to Atheistic gathering. Welcome to social reforms and services. Welcome to Atheistic gathering. Welcome to social reforms and services. Welcome to Gora 120 full. Welcome to Saraswati Gora 110 full. Welcome to Atheistic gathering. Welcome to social reforms and services. Welcome to Gora 120 full. Welcome to Saraswati Gora 110 full. Welcome to sweet memories and future hopes, longing white thread, welcoming maps. Welcome to event of social reforms. Welcome to garden of greeting human path. Welcome to garden of greeting human path. Long live atheism, long live humanism, long live atheism, long live humanism. Look at the green tree, hail the human tree flowers. Let us hail the human tree flowers. Long live atheism, long live humanism. Look at the green tree, hail the human tree flowers. Let us hail the human tree flowers. The tree is nature's beauty, its existence itself creativity. The tree is nature's beauty, its existence itself creativity. The teaching is crystal and transparent. The teaching is crystal and transparent. Our life also should be likewise. Our life also should be likewise. Long live Goraji, showing human path. Long live Saraswati, giving mother's heart. Long live Goraji, showing human path. Long live Saraswati, giving mother's heart. Look like a tree that shares everyone. Look like a lion that faces round about. Look like an angel that looks forward. Look like an eagle that looks forward. Look like a clock that remains our duty. Look like a clock that remains our duty. Look like Goraji, showing human path. Look like Saraswati, giving mother's heart. Look like Goraji, showing human path. Look like Saraswati, showing mother's heart. Welcome to Atheist gathering. Welcome to social reforms and services. Welcome to Goraji 120 full. Welcome to Saraswati Gora 110 full. Welcome to all. Jai Insan, Jai Insan, Jai Insan. స్వాగతము సుస్వాగతము, స్వాగతము సుస్వాగతము. సరస్వతి గోర ఆదర్శమూర్తుల జన్మదిన శుభ సంరంభం. సరస్వతి గోర ఆదర్శమూర్తుల జన్మదిన శుభ సంరంభం. వింశత్యాధికశతం శ్రీగోర దశాధికశతం సరస్వతి గోర. వింశత్యాధికశతం శ్రీగోర దశాధికశతం సరస్వతి గోర. ఆదర్శ దంపతులకు ఇదే అందరి శుభాభినందన స్వాగతము. శుభాభినందన శుభ స్వాగతము, స్వాగతము. ఇంట బయట అంతట ఇరువురు అపురూపం. నరులకు నాస్తిక తత్వపు బాటలు వేసిన సతీపతులకు దేశ విదేశాలలో విస్తరణగా దోహదపడిన దంపతులకు ఇదే స్వాగతము, సుస్వాగతము. దేశ విదేశాలలో విస్తరణగా దోహదపడిన దంపతులకు ఇదే స్వాగతము, సుస్వాగతము. స్వాగతము సుస్వాగతము, స్వాగతము సుస్వాగతము. సరస్వతి గోర ఆదర్శమూర్తుల జన్మదిన శుభ సంరంభం. జన్మదిన శుభ సంరంభం. స్వాగతము సుస్వాగతము, స్వాగతము సుస్వాగతము, స్వాగతము సుస్వాగతము.
Annapurna garu has been composing various songs on on Gora and Saraswati Gora, the life and work, and both Annapurna Garu and Raghupat Rao Garu, both of them have been an ardent supporter of the humanist and atheist movement in India. So we once again thank her. Her energy, she actually gives us redoubled vigor to carry forward the mantle, and thank you very much. Now I welcome Rajita Gora to kindly welcome the dignitaries on the dais. Rajita.
A very pleasant good morning to you all. A warm welcome to all the invitees and guests who have come from around the world to participate in the international conference organized on the eve of the Gora's 120th and Saraswati Gora's 110th birth anniversary organized by Atheist Center, Vijayawada, India. I, Rajita, granddaughter of Gora and Saraswati Gora, take the privilege of inviting the guests onto the dais. I invite Dr. G. Samaram, Chairman, Atheist Center and convener of the conference, to come over to the dais. I am honored to invite the chief guest of today's function, Mr. Kumareshan Garu, joint editor, The Modern Rationalist magazine, onto the dais. Please welcome, sir. Now let me invite my brother, co-convener of the conference, Vikas Gora, who is the former vice president of IHEYO and also the Rotary Peace Fellow, onto the dais. For those of you who know, he is the son of Dr. Vijayam and grandson of Gora. I would like to invite the member of the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly, our guest of honor, Mr. Gadde Ramohan Rao, onto the dais. I invite the co-founder of Freedom from Religion Foundation USA, Mr. Dan Barker, onto the dais. Please, sir, you're most welcome. I invite the chair of European Council of Skeptical Organization, Germany, Mr. Amadeo Sharmagaru, onto the dais. I welcome the Director of Communication FFRF from USA, Mr. Amit Pal, onto the dais. Please, sir, welcome. Now I take the pleasure of inviting Ms. Sakti Adamarku, Head of Digital Diplomacy, British High Commission, New Delhi, onto the dais. Now I invite the person whom I don't think none of you have met him or seen him, Dr. Narendra Naik, President, Federation of Rationalist Conference, onto the dais. From my childhood, I haven't seen even a single conference without Narendra Naik ji. Most welcome, sir. Now I invite Mr. Avinash Patil, Executive President, Maharashtra, Andhashraddha Nirmoolan Samiti, onto the dais. Please welcome, sir. I invite Mr. Uttam Nirula, International Ambassador, Humanist International UK, onto the dais. I invite Mr. Jaswant Mohal and Mr. Sumit Singh, representing the Tarkshil Society, Punjab, onto the dais. I invite Mr. Daneshwar Sahuji, President, Humanist and Rationalist Organization, Orissa, onto the dais. We have with us the first child of Gora and Saraswati Gora, Mrs. Manorama Garu. She is a Gandhian atheist and freedom fighter. I honorably welcome her onto the dais. Meanwhile, I invite Dr. Maru and Mr. Niyanta, also the children of Gora and Saraswati Gora, onto the dais. Wishing all the participants and guests a purposeful and memorable conference. I'm sure you will all return back with great memories of all the proceedings in the conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, as a mark of inaugurating the international conference on the eve of Gora's 120th and Saraswati Gora's 110th birth anniversary, we have the portraits of Gora and Saraswati, which we request Kumareshan Garu to kindly unveil, along with Dr. Samaram, Rashmi, Dr. Maru, Nageswar Rao, Chelupadi Vijayalakshmi, and Sakala and Niyanta. Thank you very much. So this is an official inauguration of the international conference. Thank you very much to all the dignitaries who are present on the dais and all our friends and colleagues and extended family from across the world who are here. We also have brought out a souvenir which captures, it's like a compendium of articles which depict certain representative sample of the secular social work, secularism, secular thought and action, as well as Gora's article on atheism and various aspects. These have been captured in the form of a souvenir. And before the release, I just would like to recognize that Gora's great-grandchildren, great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren have been this time in the forefront of organizing this, this international conference. We have always been there. Now this is the first time we are coming to the front because as elders they are passing on the mantle to us. And now I request the conference souvenir to be released by Mr. Dan Baker and Mr. Amardev Sharma. Thank you very much. Now we have Master Sahas Gora, who is the great-grandson of Gora and Saraswati and also the grandson of Dr. Maru and Hari Subramaniam, and Ola's Gora and Dr. Sudipti's son. So he will give a welcome message and also something for us to remember as what the younger generation are here to ask us to do.
Good morning everyone. My name is Sahas Gora. I stand here to represent the generation of great-grandchildren who are here and also those who are unable to make it. I convey the greetings to you. I welcome you all to this historic conference on atheism, social thought and secular action, organized on the eve of Gora's 120th and Saraswati Gora's 110th birth anniversaries. I take this opportunity to also remind you all that our generation is watching the developments of the world very closely, as we are the citizens of the future. What you leave behind for us is what we can pass on to the future. If you leave war, discrimination and conflicts, we won't have anything to build on. If you teach us superstition and instill blind beliefs into our pristine minds, then we will be pulled back into the age of darkness. We will be struggling in a web of the past filled with pain and distress. Do you really want to be remembered for leaving behind such a world to us? We want to be in the age of reason, and you can help us to sustain it. If you teach us how to live in harmony, peace, respecting secularism and strengthening scientific temper, then it will help us to achieve progress to face the new realities and challenges of the future. This is where we can evolve technological advancements, inventions and discoveries that would benefit humankind. I am sure you will agree that this is an apt way to be remembered. What we need is a world filled with dignity, equality, opportunity, and above all, respecting differences, wherein the rights of the current and future generations are realized. We want a society that addresses poverty, hunger, disease, migration, disease, and discrimination. The root causes, as we all know, are blind faith, inequality, and lack of proper development. I am here that we are gathering here to discuss many issues that not only impact today and tomorrow, but also for the generations to come. As Gora and Saraswati Gora aptly said, all viewpoints will be respected. Be bold and be human. I, as a collective representative voice of the current generation who will take the movement forward, wish the conference the very best. Jai Hind San.
Well, that message is loud and clear. Thank you very much, Sas, for setting the tone. That generation is watching us. So we have to pull up our socks, get ourselves ready and give a world to them which is fair, which is just, and the demands are very simple. Now I request Dr. Samaram to kindly give the welcome address on behalf of Atheist Center.
Chief guest of this conference, Dr. Kumareshan, and other dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and also the viewers of the Facebook in Atheist Center, to the viewers of the Facebook viewers also, very present good morning to all, and also Happy New Year to all of you. On behalf of Atheist Center, I wish you all the New Year greetings. I, Dr. Samaram, the third son of Gora, I welcome you all for this conference. Atheist Center welcomes you all to the International Conference on Atheism, Secular Thought and Social Action on eve of Gora's 120th and Saraswati Gora's 110th birth anniversary. You are right now in the world of first known Atheist Center, which was founded in 1940 by Gora and Saraswati Gora. Ever since its inception, it championed the cause of secularism and strove incessantly to spread a new value system and atheism as a way of life. It has been working for a cashless and religionless society wherein humans are treated as humans and live in humanity, live in harmony, mutual respect and peace. Atheist Center, under the inspiring leadership of Gora and Saraswati Gora, took up practical programs for the abolition of untouchability and for the promotion of castelessness through education, social movement and dialogue. They strove to bridge the gulf between percept and practice by organizing, intervening, inter-caste marriages and secular social work, which continues even till date as we enter into Atheist Center in 83rd year. It worked closely with various stakeholders, including the governments, media, civil society, global humanist, atheist, secular movements, people from across parties, faiths and masses to ensure national integration through secular thought and social action. 55 years back, on October 22nd, 1968, Gora and Saraswati Gora organized the first conference on secularism at Vijayawada, which was inaugurated by Justice V.M. Tarkunde, the then judge of the Bombay High Court and radical humanist leader. Even since then, Atheist Center organized various satyagrahas, social movements, reform activities, conferences, workshops for educating the masses on protecting secularism, promoting scientific temper, atheism and humanism as way of life. It has contributed significantly towards freedom movement, nation building, integrated development, reform and global movement. Furthering the efforts, Gora and Saraswati Gora's daughter, late Chennupat Vidya, former member of parliament from Vijayawada constituency, introduced a private member resolution in the Lok Sabha on the necessity to strengthen secularism. The private bill will move in the Lok Sabha. It was discussed in Lok Sabha on April 23rd, 1982, and also a private member bill for the promotion of cashless and religious society bill on July 9, 1982. Twice is moved to resolution and very well discussed in Lok Sabha. Wonderful and taken part, she had taken a very active part in Lok Sabha as member of parliament. Our approach is social action and our method is atheistic and humanistic. Our advocacy work is aimed to strengthen secularism and realize the tenets of the Indian Constitution. So far, Atheist Center organized 11 World Atheist Conferences. First was organized in 1972. In 1920, Atheist Center celebrated 80 years. In all our programs and discourses, people from all walks of life participate, and every opinion is respected by its merit. Over the years, we had many organizations such as the Vice President of India. Over the years, we had many organizations, dignitaries. We had many dignitaries such as the Vice President of India, governors, members of parliaments, Gandhian leaders, peace activists, humanists, atheists, free thinkers, and rationalist leaders and organizations, and also Her Royal Highness, Princess Anne visited and witnessed our Atheist Center work. This conference is yet another important event which has representation from India, USA, Germany, UK, Nepal, etc. to share each other's thoughts on protecting the secular ramparts we guard and ways to ensure social action programs that are needed for the overall development of the society. Gora, Saraswati, and many other atheists, humanists, rationalists, free thinkers, and social reformers have committed their lives for a rational and secular society. It is our responsibility to carry forward the good work for the betterment of society. The 3-day conference will include plenaries, demonstrative lectures, and parallel sessions on the topics that impact secular thought and social action. You are seeing our theme is atheism, secular thought, and social action. On the theme, all the topics will be there. The details are also provided in the agenda sheet. On day 1, that is today, after the plenary, we will be having 4 group sessions on the topics. One is media and secularism. Second is social action and reform in the new age. Third is secular social work, and fourth is international humanist movement. Two sessions will be held simultaneously in the evening, 2 to evening today. We have secular dance performance. We already witnessed today morning welcomes dance, but in the evening there is secular dance performance by the students of Vasavi and Nritya Bahar. Here Vasavi and Nritya Bahar there. We are promoting dance on secular thought, atheism, social change. Then Vasavi and Nritya Bahar and demonstrative lecture on critical thinking and free inquiry by none other than Narendra Nayak. On tomorrow, there will be 4 group sessions. In the first half, on the topics, one is critical thinking and free inquiry. Second is human rights and atheism. Atheism to committed for human rights. UNO declared 30 human rights and also commanded all the nations to create bills only on the basis of keeping the view of human rights only. But now what is happening? So many countries, they are against to human rights, making acts. Now we are having the atheist, humanist and rationalist free thinkers to oppose that type of acts in their countries. You have to protect human rights, humanity, human dignity. We are all committed for human rights. And third session tomorrow, third group, atheism as way of life, creative thinking, against to slavery, theism to slavery, atheism against to slavery, individual freedom, respect depends on this truth, evidence, scientific knowledge, scientific temper. Everything depends upon the scientific knowledge, scientific temper, everything. Not simple blind beliefs. That's why Gora said, Vasavikata, Sangha-drishti, Vyaktitam, 3 principles. Vasavikata, reality, truth. God is falsehood. That is only imaginary. The theism depends on the only imaginary theories. Atheism depends on the totally evidence-based, fact-based truth, other than only simply imagination. That's why atheism is a perfect philosophy, perfect life philosophy. And second is Sangha-drishti, that means social outlook, social justice to all human beings, equal rights. That is very important. The Gora says that we fight for social justice. Third is respect to human beings. Human being is free from all types of slaveries. Where is the slavery? We are against slavery. We create with thinking, critical thinking. That is Gora. That is atheism. That is humanism. That is free thought. That is rationalism. We fight for that one, everyone. Now world is moving towards that direction only. World moving. Because one side scientific knowledge is improving, scientific thinking improving. That's why religious people, fanatics, and so the reactionaries, they want to they have to go hurdle our face. That's why we have to all together work for that socialist, free thinking, freedom, no slavery, anything, no slavery for God or anything. That's why there is international human movement. And also, he said tomorrow, the way of education and scientific outlook. In education, we bring so much of change, scientific knowledge and scientific temper. In that we work with. And various discussions, and this is similarly, and also now another section is there, extremism and fanaticism. We have seen Afghanistan what is happening, what happened in Iran. What is it? Where is the human rights? That's why say we fight against all this extremism and fanaticism. I wholeheartedly congratulate the Maharashtra group on the result. They are wonderful, excellent, they're doing good job. Whole Punjab, everybody, the groups or our groups are fighting for human rights, fighting for truth. Narendra Dabholkar sacrificed life. Gauri Lankesh, Pansari, why did all the people sacrifice their life for the sake of this social justice? So truth. That's why now extremism, we have to see both within this extremism and fanaticism, a bane to progress, and atheism and politics. We have to bring so much changes in politics. Now the parties became, actually democracy means the democracy, people for the people, by the people, of the people. Now became democracy, parties democracy. Now became caste-based democracy and religious democracies. What is this? That's why Gora propagated partyless democracy. Then only comes real democracy. Really, so many changes should come. The people's representative should be real people's representative. Our Gadde Ramohan is of course belongs one party, but once he elected, now he represents to all the people of the constituency. Just stand up, sir. Really great. Though he elected, but love all the people, he work for all. Chandupad Vidya, ex-MP, she is also elected by Indira Gandhi party, but after electing she became people's representative only. That is democracy want. That type of democracy want. Partless democracy. The representative to all the people of the country. That's why God has promoted partless democracy. We fight for that one also. All these topics tomorrow we discuss on this base, and also in the valedictory function we have messages for the conference and read out from across the world. So many messages come back from the world, across the world, followed by special address by Mr. Amardev Sharma, Chair, European Council of Skeptical Organization, Germany, followed by conference declaration and felicitations to all the dignitaries. They felicitate all the dignitaries, delegates also. On third day, we are organizing a field visit to the secular social work initiatives of Atheist Center. In Atheist Center, there are only 5 wings are there. One is Vasavya Mahila Mandali, Vasavya Mahila Mandali, that work for women empowerment on secular thought and atheist way of life. Second is Arthik Samta Mandal for social development, for village development. Third is Sanskar. These are wings of Atheist Center. They have taken criminal rehabilitation program. They are hardcore criminals. They change their life. The government unable to control the criminality. But Atheist Center entered 200 people change. Now if you go and see Samaram, that one kind of wonderful village. No criminals. Only Gora, Saraswati Gora, Lavanam, Yamrata, Lavanam, Atheist have taken that word, criminal rehabilitation on atheist point of view. Atheism gives respect to everybody changes them. Similarly, in Jogini Duracharam, though Jogini, one kind of system is there, very bad system, that was changed and brought the acts. So you are Sanskar, wonderful activity done on behalf of the sector. International humanitarian movement has helped a lot for these activities. I am very grateful to international humanitarian and ethical organizations for helping these activities, and also PAN International and other organizations also. And also Gora Science Center. Since 60 years, we are promoting scientific knowledge and scientific temper, conducting scientific exhibitions. Every year conducting scientific exhibitions here. Mere 50,000 people come and visit, and also at the same time we expose the miracles. They are only myths. So many we are doing like that. The secular social work. And we are having a Vasavya nursing home and that medical social work. Extraordinary work are doing there. Extraordinary work. We have gone to Telangana, where is Banabadi, witchcraft, sorcery. So many people are killed by witchcraft, sorcery, by the name of this one. They believe in mantras and other things. But we expose the change. The government of India, Andhra Pradesh, government of Andhra Pradesh, these and so police from Medak wrote a letter. Our police force unable to control these types of murders on the name of witchcraft. Please do come as a team from Atheist Center and eradicate this same kind of blind belief which cult. We gone there. We toured extensively in Telangana. Within 6 months, the same super police wrote a letter. 80% people changed totally the mindset. They are not believing sorcery. That is it is activities, power. That is power of the atheism, party atheism, human approach. That's the atheist Vasavya nursing home in medical social work, very appreciated, and so many things on behalf of this one, not only in picture. So many myths were exposed. Like that atheist and so many there. And on third day, we are organizing a field visit to the secular social work activities, Vasavya Mahila Mandali and Ardhimta Mandali in around India and around Vijayawada. Not going to Telangana, not going to Pakistan Jilla, but one day I request, we arrange on bus. Those are in their staying, and third day, please come, see how we are taking orphanage children, HIV affected, infected children, no father, parents, nobody is there. We are the only pay, we are papas. So many social problems, ladies who take up, broken homes. We are doing so much of them on the way, only on the lines of positive atheism, atheistic point of view, only atheistic approach. The religious people are doing on the name of God. We are doing the social work on the name of humanism. Humanism, not on the name of God. Mother Teresa has done work on the name of God, on the name of moksha. But we are doing work for the humanity, upon the name of humanity, human. That is atheistic work, social work. They are also doing work. We are also doing work. But give respect, we improve the people's mindset, we change totally. We change totally mindset. We they give the freedom from the slavery mind. That is atheist-centered activity, atheism. Gora's philosophy is the only philosophy which is the only correct philosophy. It gives a religionless, casteless, human approach in philosophy, that is positive atheism. And so you can see the whatever work also. So on behalf of Atheist Center, welcome you all once again to this international conference, and wish the discussions are constructive and respectful. Jai Insan. Jai Insan means all humans to Jai, not Jai Bhagwan, Jai Sri Ram, nothing. Jai Insan, that means human, respectful person. He is respect, Jai Insan. We want to get respect and have to give respect to other persons. What respect I want? The same respect to others is it of the person. What respect I want other persons the same. That is Jai Insan. Jai Insan.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samaram. I also would like to recognize the presence of Sri Mandalipathu Prasad Garu, former Deputy Speaker of Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. Now I think as Dr. Samaram has very powerfully has put forth, I think the efforts of Atheist Center over the past 83 years would not have been possible without the support of the government, media, police, various organizations, civil society, and people, elected representatives who think beyond politics after they're elected. I think that's a very important uniqueness that we have in the state of Andhra Pradesh as well as in some parts of India. Now I stand here to present to you the theme of the conference, which is the atheism and secular thought and social action. Well, it is the need of the hour and hope for the future. We all know why so. We are witnessing unprecedented times across the world, which is increasingly getting polarized, and people are getting discriminated based on religion, race, region, caste and gender. And it is also fueling a lot of conflicts in India as well as globally, and displacement as well as the basic rights of human beings are getting compromised. History clearly demonstrates that discrimination, superstition, religious extremism and fundamentalism have resulted in scores of people becoming victims of circumstances. The revival of religious fundamentalism and extremism by vested interest groups have started to shift the focus of people from education and development to religion, race, caste and other divisive factors. Politicization of religion and religionization of politics is further adding to the woes of the society. Atrocities committed in the name of religion, caste and other parochial considerations are leaving youth especially at the crossroads. On one hand, the youth are witnessing scenarios depicting divisions, and on the other hand, they see that their future opportunities are at bay. They do recognize that people should live in peaceful coexistence irrespective of one's faith or lack of it, so that the overall development can be achieved. The scientific advancements have brought the world closer now more than ever. It has blurred borders and speeded up communication in a blink of an eye. The voices of people are heard through various social platforms much before they hit the print. A tweet in the Twitter triggers a street talk, and a street talk makes way to the tweet. Did we ever imagine such speed of information transfer? In order to sustain development, democratic values, promote equality, dignity, peace, harmony, rights of the people, and to enhance education, critical thinking among masses, as well as to transcend the discriminative borders, secular thought and social action are necessary. Secularism is a system of values and actions that come from insisting upon democratic functioning and human rights. It is the separation of religion from civic affairs and the state. Secularism ultimately necessitates the separation of religion and education, religion and culture, religion and development, religion and policy, and so on. The very essence of secularism is to recognize that the affairs of the state are too important to be subjected to the whims of ancient myths and superstitions and influence of religious leaders. Historically, it was secularism that was
Historically, it is secularism that is the key to development, because it was the relegation of the status of religion that it provided which has allowed scientific advancements to take place, from which all the technological and economic progress has been achieved. Secularism is also about respecting people, irrespective of their religious beliefs or non-religious lifestyles. It is about separation of religion and state, so that there is no fear of marginalization or favoritism towards a religious group. It is about seeing humans as humans and treating humans as humans. State has an inherent responsibility to protect not just those who brought a political party to power, but also all those who the state is supposedly to rule. This is essential to enhance the democratic values. It is important to note that secularism is also beyond inter-religious harmony. As we all know that within each religion there are various cultural and social groups and hierarchies, which also lead to various contradictions, conflicts, and complementarities. Hence, secularism seeks to interpret life based on principles derived solely from the material world without any relevance or mention to religion. It leaves religion to a personal affair and not to be brought into the affairs of public sphere, and at the same time encourages people to think and act rational, sourcing from scientific outlook and spirit of questioning. Secularism encourages free thought and questioning hegemonies. It is important to note that impartiality between religions and separation of religion from state institutions are essential elements, but a third most important component is there. That is the preparedness to intervene and to protect human rights from violation by religious injunctions as well as threat to life and safety. The lives of Narendra Dabholkar, Pansare, and all of them are too well known because they went down fighting, but their fighting did not go in vain. The right to children to education free from religious indoctrination is surely an important part of this. Fundamental rights are always followed by fundamental duties, which maintains human dignity and rights. Secular values play a significant role to preserve the unity and integrity of any nation. Secularism is the symbol of national integration. However, it is important to note secularism may also come under siege and lose its appeal to people if it harps only on political aspect. Secularism should be a way of life, built on promoting scientific temper, critical thinking, free inquiry, and social action. The sterling character of secularists will enhance its credibility. So it's the responsibility of secularists to preach what they practice and practice what they preach. Hence, the champions of secularism have greater responsibility in furthering its positive aspects. Secularism has great appeal and relevance to common people on the street because his or her life and survival is linked to its protection and promotion. Any religious or caste conflict has a direct impact on the common person's life on the street. Their survival is compromised because the economics of life get challenged in any conflict. It is important to note that morality has nothing to do with religion, caste or race. Morality is a social necessity. As Gora and Saraswati aptly said, to do good and to be good, God and religion are not necessary. Freedom to think, act secular, and doing good for society are extremely important. Many progressive-minded people such as Periyar E.V. Ramaswamy, M.N. Roy, Narendra Dabholkar, and others are shining examples in this regard. Secular thought is the fabric, whereas social action is one that holds the fabric. Social action is about undertaking initiatives and programs through secular social work and that address the root causes of ignorance, superstition, poverty, and ill health. Social action need to be inherently secular, as hunger does not discriminate the sufferers and the impact is human. Hence, the solutions need to be planned and implemented from the human lens. Secular thought and social action are the two pillars upon which the present and the future generation holds. It is our moral and social responsibility to pass to the future a world which is safe, sustainable, free from climate change, and a world where human rights are respected. Hence, we all need to undertake multiple programs related to educating the younger generation on practical definition of secularism. We do see quite often the word pseudo-secularism being used. Actually, there are no pseudo-secularists. Either you are a secularist or you are not a secularist. So, it is important to educate the young brigade on the need to promote critical thinking, free inquiry, and discovery education so that the young minds open their vistas of thinking and start to question hegemonies. It is important to promote dialogue between various faiths so that to promote communal harmony. Strengthen the separation of religion and state. It's important that as atheists, humanists, and rationalists, we stand to ensure to protect that education is not overridden through any religious texts or superstitious beliefs. Education innately is secular and it is based on scientific facts, and it's our responsibility to protect it. Ensure that the human dignity and rights are not compromised. Gender equality and child rights are protected and promoted. It's also urgent that we need to relook at the way to preserve unity in diversity and respect the fellow humans. Respect differences and maintain tolerance as we have one world to live and one planet to take care of. Secularism is about transforming from imaginary God-centric to human-centric world. As the problems that need urgent attention impact humans, so the solution should be evolved accordingly. Together we can do it. This conference, international conference theme on secular thought and social action is primarily aimed at furthering the cause of secularists, strengthening the humanist and the atheist movement, living a humanist and atheist way of life, as well as respecting different viewpoints. We as atheist humanists have a responsibility to make the world a much safer place to live in and get greater coordination and collective action from various groups as well as individuals. And thank you once again for this wonderful opportunity. As we have our guest of honor, Gadde Rammohan Rao Garu, who is the member of Legislative Assembly Andhra Pradesh. He has another event planned simultaneously. We request him to kindly give his message and then we will take forward from here.
Today's convener, who has given beautiful welcome speech, Dr. Samaram Garu. Today's chief guest, joint editor, the modern rationalist, Mr. Veeraswamy Kumarasan Garu. Our former Deputy Speaker, Mandala Buddhaprasad Garu. Co-founder, Freedom from Religion Foundation, USA, Mr. Dan Barker Garu, and other dignitaries on the dais and also off the dais. I am happy to be in the part of 128th birth anniversary and 110th birth anniversary celebrations of Gora Garu and Saraswati Garu by the Atheist Center, Vijayawada, and International Conference on Secularism being held from today. Gora Garu and Saraswati Gora Garu have established the Atheist Center in 1940. It is great that for the last 8 years, the Atheist Center has been fighting for the cause of social equality, serving the society in the fields of education, health, and many more issues, enlightening the society in the field of orthodox practices. It is interesting and a great thing that both wife and husband, that is Gora Garu and Saraswati Gora Garu, have collectively fought for one cause of atheism and development of society. They are the social reformers of those days who fought for the removal of untouchability and promotion of casteless society. In my childhood, I used to admire Gora Garu for his fight for removal of the evils of the society and his direct contact with Mahatma Gandhiji. Gora Garu is one of the very few persons who has direct contact with Mahatma Gandhiji. Here in Andhra Pradesh, both Gora Garu and Saraswati Gora Garu are freedom fighters and we used to closely follow their speeches and programs. I am also very happy that the values, service and spirit of Gora Garu and Saraswati Gora Garu is being continued by their children. That is the greatness, their children. I feel great to have good contacts with all the family members of Gora Garu. This international conference on atheism, secular thought of and social action, which is going to be held for 3 days, would certainly enlighten the society as the society is now being divided in the name of religion, caste and region. These type of conferences are needed to educate the people. Rational thinking and secular thinking is needed for the development of society. I heartfully congratulate the organizers for the success of the 3 days international conference and wish the Atheist Center would flourish eternally and would educate the people. Thank you all.
Now I welcome one of other guest of honor is also leaving, Mr. Mandal Buddhaprasad Garu. He is the former Deputy Speaker of Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly to kindly give his message.
ఈనాటి ముఖ్య అతిథి వీరాస్వామి కుమారేశన్ గారు, అలాగే ఈనాటి గౌరవ అతిథులు గౌరవ శాసనసభ్యులు శ్రీ గద్దె రామ్మోహన్ గారు, మిస్టర్ దాన్ బార్కర్ గారు, అమరదేవ్ శర్మ గారు, అమృత్ పాల్, శక్తి ఎడ్మార్క్, డాక్టర్ నరేంద్ర నాయక్, అవినాష్ పాటిల్, ఉత్తమ్ నిరువుల, సారంగ గారు, హరిశ్చంద్ర బిండర్, దానేశ్వర సాహు, డాక్టర్ ఎన్ భాస్కర్ గారు, రావూరి మనోరమ గారు, ఈరోజు డాక్టర్ సమరం గారు ఎంతో అద్భుతమైన సందేశాన్ని వారి స్వాగతోపన్యాసంలో అందించడం జరిగింది. ఈరోజున గోరా గారి 120వ జయంతి, అలాగే శ్రీమతి సరస్వతి గోరా గారి 110వ జయంతిని పురస్కరించుకొని ఈ అంతర్జాతీయ సమ్మేళనంలో పాల్గొంటున్న దేశ విదేశాల నుంచి వచ్చిన ప్రతినిధులకి, పాత్రికేయులకు, సోదరీమణులందరికీ కూడా నా హృదయపూర్వకమైన నమస్కారాలు. తెలుగు నేల మీద పుట్టిన మహోన్నత సంఘ సంస్కర్త శ్రీ గోరా గారు, శ్రీమతి సరస్వతి గోరా గారు. వారు నిష్కలంక దేశభక్తులు, స్వాతంత్ర సమరయోధులు, మనిషి కోసం, జీవన ప్రగతి కోసం, సమతా సమాజం కోసం తాత్వికంగా ఆలోచించిన నాస్తికోద్యమ నాయకులు. మన దగ్గర మన ఆంధ్రదేశంలో కందుకూరి వీరేశ్వరం గారు, రఘుపతి వెంకటరత్నాయుడు గారు ఇలాంటి సంఘ సంస్కర్తలు ఉన్నారు. అయితే ఆచరణాత్మక సంఘ సంస్కర్త ఎవరైనా ఉన్నారంటే వారు గోరా గారని చెప్పి మనం సగర్వంగా చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. హేతుబద్ధంగా ఆలోచించడం నాస్తికత్వం అని నమ్మిన వారు శ్రీ గోరా గారు. నాస్తికత్వం అనేది సామాజిక మార్పు కోసం ఉద్దేశించింది. పరలోకంలో సొంత ప్రయోజనాల కన్నా ఈ లోకంలో అందరి ప్రయోజనాల కోసం పాటుపడటాన్ని ఆయన నాస్తికత్వంగా భావించారు. నాస్తికత అంటే సేవా పరాయణత్వమే కానీ సంప్రదాయవాదుల మీద ఆధిపత్యం కోసం, మేధా సంపన్నత ప్రదర్శన కోసం ఉద్దేశించింది కాదని ఆయన అనేవారు. నాస్తికత్వం వల్లనే సామాజిక అసమానతలు వెదులుగుతాయని, ప్రధానంగా నాటి హరిజన వాడలను కేంద్రంగా చేసుకుని ఆయన కార్యక్రమాలు సాగించారు. అంటరానితనం నిర్మూలన కోసం శ్రీ గోరా చేస్తున్న కృషికి మెచ్చి మహాత్మా గాంధీ స్వయంగా ఆయనను తన ఆశ్రమానికి ఆహ్వానించారు. గాంధీ ఆశయాల సాధనలో చివరి వరకు శ్రీ గోరా గారు కుటుంబం పనిచేసింది. ఆయన కుటుంబం అందరూ కలిసి 2 ఏళ్ల పాటు కొద్ది రోజుల పాటు గాంధీ గారి ఆశ్రమంలో ఉండటం గోరా గారిపైన గాంధీ ప్రభావానికి, గోరా గారి ఆలోచనలకు గాంధీ గారి ఆమోదానికి అవి తార్కాణాలు. ఎందుకంటే 1930వ సంవత్సరంలో గోరా గారు గాంధీ గారిని కలుసుకోవాలని చెప్పి వారిని అభ్యర్థిస్తే దాన్ని గాంధీ గారు తిరస్కరించాడు. ఎందుకు తిరస్కరించాడు? నువ్వు నాస్తికుడు కనుక నీతో మాట్లాడటానికి ఆయన అంగీకరించలేదు. కానీ అదే గాంధీ గారు మళ్ళా తర్వాత అస్పృశ్యత నిర్మూలన కోసం గోరా గారు చేస్తున్న కార్యక్రమాల గురించి విని ఆయన స్వయంగా ఆహ్వానించడం జరిగింది. అలా హేతువాదం ద్వారా ప్రజాసేవ గురించి గాంధీ గారికి గోరా గారికి మధ్య అనేక సంభాషణలు జరిగాయి, అనేక వాదోపాదాలు జరిగాయి. అవన్నీ కూడా గోరా గారు ఒక పుస్తకంగా కూడా వారు రచించడం జరిగింది. అయితే గోరా గారి ఆలోచనల్ని అధ్యయనం చేస్తుంటే భూమి నాది అనినా భూమి పక్కన్నవనే వేమన పద్యం గుర్తుకొస్తుంది. నిరాడంబరత ఆయన సిద్ధాంతం. ఆయన నమ్మిన గాంధీజీ సిద్ధాంతం దేశ పునర్నిర్మాణం జరగాలంటే నిరాడంబరతని నిష్కర్షగా ఆచరించాలని 1962లో ఆనాటి ప్రధాని పండిట్ జవహర్లాల్ నెహ్రూకి లేఖ రాసి సేవాగ్రామం నుండి ఢిల్లీకి 100 రోజుల పాటు కాలినడకన వెళ్ళి ప్రధాని నెహ్రూ గారి ఇల్లు తీన్మూర్తి భవనం ముందు సత్యాగ్రహం చేసిన అకలంక దేశభక్తుడైన గాంధీ గారి ప్రముఖ అనుచరుడిగా గోరా గారి ప్రసిద్ధి ఎరిగిన నెహ్రూ ఆయనతో చర్చలు జరిపారు. అయితే ఆ చర్చల్లో ఈ పార్టీ రహిత ప్రజాస్వామ్యం గురించి గోరా గారు ప్రస్తావించారు. దానికంటే కూడా కులతత్వం చాలా దేశానికి హానికరం అని చెప్పి నెహ్రూ గారు ఆయన భావాన్ని వ్యక్తం చేయడం జరిగింది. అయితే ఇవాళ మనం చూస్తూ ఉంటే ప్రత్యేకించి మన ఆంధ్రదేశంలో ఇవాళ కులతత్వం ఎంత ప్రమాదకరంగా పరిణమించిందో, ఇవాళ రాజకీయాలు కూడా కులతత్వంతో నిండిపోయిన పరిస్థితి. అప్పుడు నెహ్రూ గారితో అన్నాడు, కులతత్వం పెరిగిందంటే దానికి కారణం రాజకీయాలని చెప్పి గోరా గారు అన్నారు. నిజంగా ఇవాళ కుల తత్వం ఇంతగా విస్తరిల్లిందంటే, ఇవాళ సమాజం అంతా కూడా కులాల వారీగా ఇవాళ విభజింపబడిందంటే దానికి కారణం ప్రధానంగా రాజకీయాలని చెప్పి గోరా గారు విశ్వసించారు. అది వాస్తవమైన విషయం కూడా. అలాగే గౌరా గారు ఆయన ఈ నిరాడంబరత విషయంలో గాంధీ గారు ఏదైతే నిరాడంబరంగా జీవించాలి, దేశానికి స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చిన తర్వాత ప్రత్యేకించి మంత్రులు కానివ్వండి, ప్రజాప్రతినిధులు కానివ్వండి, వాస్తవానికి గాంధీ గారు రాష్ట్రపతి భవన్ కూడా వదిలేయమని చెప్పాడు. అయితే తదనంతర కాలం ఆడంబరాలు పెరిగిపోయాయి. అయితే ఈ దేశంలో ఈ ఆడంబరాలని వ్యతిరేకించిన ఏకైక వ్యక్తి గోరా గారు. అది మాత్రం మనం గుర్తుంచుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. దానికోసం ఆయన సేవాగ్రహం నుంచి ఢిల్లీ దాకా పాదయాత్ర చేశారు. ఆ తర్వాత ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ముఖ్యమంత్రులు నీలం సంజీవ్ రెడ్డి, కాసు బ్రహ్మానంద రెడ్డి ఇళ్ల ముందు ఆయన సత్యాగ్రహం చేసిన సంగతి మనం తెలిసిన విషయమే. ఎందుకంటే ఆయన ఆ రోజున రాసిన లెటర్లో ఆయన చెప్పిన చాలా విషయాలు మనం ఈ రోజున గమనించాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. వాళ్ళ కుటుంబంలో తల్లిదండ్రులకు ఎలాంటి బాధ్యత ఉన్నదో అట్టి బాధ్యత దేశం ఎడల ప్రజాప్రతినిధులకు ఉంది. ఇంట్లో పిల్లల్ని చింకిగుడ్డలతో అర్ధాకలతో వదిలి తల్లిదండ్రులు తాము సిల్కు బట్టలు కట్టుకుంటూ విందులు చేసుకుంటారా? చేసుకోరు. ఒకవేళ అలా ఎవరైనా చేస్తే అట్టి తల్లిదండ్రులను దుర్మార్గులని, బిడ్డలంటే ప్రేమ లేనివారని అంటాం. అలాగే ప్రజలు దారిద్ర్యంలో, అధిక ధరలు, ఆహార ధాన్యాల కొరతతో బాధపడుతూ ఉండగా ప్రజాప్రతినిధులు విందులు, విలాసాలు, ఆడంబరాలతో జీవితం గడపడం సిగ్గుచేటు, తగన పని. ప్రజాప్రతినిధిగా తన బాధ్యతలను అర్థం చేసుకున్నవారు నేటి ప్రజలకు ఈ విషయాన్ని స్పష్టంగా తెలియజెప్పాలని చెప్పి గోరా గారు ఆ రోజు నెహ్రూ గారికి రాసిన ఉత్తరంలో పేర్కొన్న విషయాన్ని మీకు ఇక్కడ ప్రస్తావిస్తున్నాను. ప్రస్తుతం ప్రజలకు ప్రభుత్వానికి ఉన్న సంబంధం తారుమారుగా ఉంది. ప్రజాసేవకుడిగా ఉండవలసిన మంత్రులు అధికార గర్వంతోనూ ఆర్థిక అవకాశాలతోనూ విర్రవీగుతున్నారు. యజమానిగా ఉండవలసిన పౌరుడు మంత్రుల చుట్టూ యాచన చేస్తూ తిరుగుతున్నాడు. ఈ అవతావాలని సరిదిద్దాలంటే మళ్ళీ సత్యాగ్రహం కావాల్సిందే. సత్యాగ్రహం వల్ల గాంధీ యుగంలో ఉత్సాహంతో మరలా ప్రజలు ఉప్పొంగుతారని శ్రీ గోరా గారు ఆడంబరాలకు వ్యతిరేకంగా ఆ రోజున సత్యాగ్రహాలు చేశారు. ఇది 60వ దశకంలో జరిగింది. ఆ చౌక రోజుల్లోనే ప్రజాప్రతినిధుల ఆడంబరాలపై అంత పోరాటం చేసిన శ్రీ గోరా నేటి పరిస్థితిని చూస్తే ఎంత పరితపించారో అనిపిస్తుంది. ప్రజాధన దుర్వినియోగాన్ని ప్రశ్నించే వాళ్ళు లేకపోవటం మంచి పరిణామం కాదని, దాన్ని ఆదిలోనే తుంచాలని ఆయన ప్రయత్నించారు. గాంధీ ఆలోచనలకు ప్రాధాన్యత తగ్గిపోతూ వస్తుండటంతో వ్యధతోనే ఆయన పోరాడారు. అంటరాని తరం నిర్మూలన, స్త్రీ సమానత్వం, వయోజన విద్య, పరిశుభ్రత, అభిమాన విషయాలుగా తీసుకుని నాస్తిక్ కేంద్రాన్ని నడిపించారు ఆయన. మహాత్మా గాంధీ ప్రవచించిన నిర్మాణ కార్యక్రమాలు గోరా గారి నాస్తికోద్యమ కార్యక్రమాలు ఒకటే. గాంధీజీ జగమెరిగిన ఆస్తికుడు, గోరా గారు తిరుగులేని నాస్తికుడు. ఇద్దరు దారులు వేరు, కానీ ఆర్తజన సంరక్షణ, సమాజ అభ్యున్నతి అనేవి అంతిమ లక్ష్యాలుగా పనిచేశారు ఆ ఇద్దరు కూడా. మనసా వాచ కర్మణ నిరాడంబరత అనేది ఆచరణలో ఉన్నప్పుడే అవి సాధించగలమని నమ్మారు ఆయన. శ్రీ గోరా గారు తన పెద్ద కుమార్తె మనోరమ వివాహం ఒక హరిజన యువకుడైన శ్రీ అర్జునరావుతో జరిపించడానికి నిశ్చయించారు. ఇది ఆ రోజుల్లో చాలా పెద్ద సమాజంలో ఒక పెద్ద కలవరం సృష్టించిన అంశం. అది ఇటీవలే అర్జునరావు గారు పరమపదించారు. అర్జునరావు గారు ఆయన అతి పేదవాడు, పెద్దగా చదువుకున్నవాడు కాదు. అలాంటి వాడిని తన అల్లుడుగా చేసుకోవాలని చెప్పి గోరా గారు భావించారు. అర్జునరావు గారు తిరస్కరించారు. నేను చదువుకున్నవాడిని కాదు, నా దగ్గర డబ్బు లేదు భార్యాపిల్లలను పోషించడానికి, మీరు ఎవరన్నా ఇంకా ఉన్నత స్థాయిలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళని చేసుకోమని అంటే, లేదు నిన్నే నేను ఎంపిక చేసుకున్నానని చెప్పి అన్నారు. అది గోరా గారిలో ఉన్న గొప్పతనం. ఈ రోజున కూడా వర్ణాంతర వివాహాలు జరుగుతున్నాయి. వర్ణాంతర వివాహాలు ఎలా జరుగుతున్నాయి? బాగా డబ్బున్న వాళ్ళని చూసుకుని వర్ణాంతర వివాహం చేస్తున్న ఆస్తి ఉన్న వాళ్ళని, లేకపోతే బాగా చదువుకుని ఉన్నత విద్య వాళ్ళని చూసి వివాహాలు చేసుకుంటున్నారు. కానీ ఆ రోజున ఒక సంఘ సంస్కరణ కోసం సమాజానికి ఎదురొడ్డి ఆ కార్యక్రమాన్ని నిర్వహించిన వారు గోరా గారు. ఇటీవల కాలంలో మన భారత ప్రధాన న్యాయమూర్తి చంద్రచూడ్ గారు కూడా ప్రస్తావించారు. ఇవాళ కొన్ని వందల మంది పరువు హత్యలు జరుగుతున్నాయని చెప్పి దేశంలో. ఇవాళ ఎవరైనా కులాంతర వివాహం చేసుకుంటే వాళ్ళని చంపుతున్న పరిస్థితులు మనం చూస్తున్నాం. ప్రతిరోజు పత్రికల్లో వస్తున్న పరిస్థితి వచ్చింది. ఇక వివాహం చేసుకున్న వాళ్ళు ఎవరన్నా తనకంటే అధిక ధనం కోసం లేకపోతే అధిక విద్య ఉన్న వాళ్ళ ద్వారా లబ్ధి పొందామని చేసుకున్న పరిస్థితులు తప్ప నిజమైన సంఘ సంస్కరణ దృక్పథంతో వాళ్ళు చేసుకున్న పరిస్థితులు. కానీ నిజమైన సంఘ సంస్కరణకి ఆనాటి సమాజాన్ని ఎదురొడ్డి నిలిచిన గొప్ప వ్యక్తి గోరా గారు అన్న విషయం మనం గుర్తుంచుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. దాంట్లో అర్జునరావు గారిని కూడా మనం ఎంతైనా అభినందించి తీరాలి. ఆయన వాస్తవానికి హరిజనుడైనప్పటికి కూడా నాస్తికత్వాన్ని నమ్మిన తర్వాత తనకు కులము మతం లేదని చెప్పారు. ఆయన 1952లో ఎన్నికల్లో కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ నిలబెట్టాలని ప్రయత్నం చేసినప్పుడు రిజర్వ్ నియోజకవర్గాన్ని నుంచి నాకు కులం లేదు మతం లేదు, అలాంటి వాడిని నేను ఎస్సీ అని చెప్పుకొని నేను ఎట్లా నిలబడతానని చెప్పి తిరస్కరించిన గొప్ప వ్యక్తి అర్జునరావు గారు. అంతేకాకుండా ఎస్సీలుగా నమోదైతే ఇవాళ అనేక ప్రయోజనాలు కలుగుతాయి. ప్రత్యేకించి పిల్లలకి విద్య ఉచితంగా అందించబడుద్ది. కానీ ఆయన ఏవి కూడా కోరుకునే వ్యక్తి. నిజంగా గోరా గారికి ఆశయాల్ని ఆచరణలో చూపిన గొప్ప వ్యక్తి అర్జునరావు గారి మన మధ్య నుంచి వెళ్ళిపోవటం నిజంగా చాలా దురదృష్టకరమైన పరిణామం అని చెప్పి ఆయనకు కూడా ఈ సందర్భంలో నేను శ్రద్ధాంజలి ఘటిస్తూ ఈ రోజున ఈ సమావేశం ద్వారా మళ్ళా సమాజం మీద ఆలోచన చేసే విధంగా సమాజాన్ని ప్రభావితం చేస్తారని చెప్పి ఇక్కడ ఉన్న పెద్దలందరూ ప్రభావితం చేస్తారని చెప్పి నేను భావిస్తున్నాను. సరస్వతి గోరా గారితో చాలా పరిచయం ఉండేది. వారిని ఎప్పుడు కలిసినా కూడా ఆమె చాలా ఆవేదన చెందుతూ ఉండేవారు. ప్రత్యేకించి ప్రజా దృష్టి కంటే పాక్షిక దృష్టి పెరిగిందని, ప్రజాక్షేమం కంటే వ్యక్తిగత స్వార్థం స్వలాభాపేక్ష పెరిగిందని చెప్పి తరచూ సరస్వతి గోరా గారు అంటూ ఉండేవారు. నిజమే అది. ఇవాళ సమాజం గురించి ఆలోచించేవాళ్ళు లేరు. వీరందరూ కూడా తమ వ్యక్తిగతంగా ఎన్నో త్యాగాలు చేసి సమాజాన్ని సంస్కరించాలని, సమాజ అభ్యున్నతికి దోహదపడాలని, ఈ దేశానికి స్వాతంత్రం రావాలని చెప్పి తప్పించిన మహానుభావులు. అయితే మనం చాలామంది స్వాతంత్ర సమరయోధులను చూసాం. కానీ ఆ తర్వాత వాళ్ళ పిల్లలు ఎవరో కూడా ఆ ఆలోచనలతో ముందుకు సాగిన పరిస్థితి లేదు. ఇవాళ ప్రపంచంలోనే ఏకైక కుటుంబం ఒకే భావంతో ఇవాళ సమాజం గురించి ఆలోచిస్తూ సమాజ శ్రేయస్సుకు పరితపిస్తూ గోరా గారి ఆశయాల్ని అందరూ కూడా అందిపుచ్చుకున్న కుటుంబం ఏదైనా ఉందంటే ఒక గోరా గారి కుటుంబం తప్ప మరో కుటుంబం లేదని చెప్పి మాత్రం మనం చేస్తాం. లవణం గారితో, హేమలత లవణం గారితో, మైత్రి గారితో, అలాగే నవ్వు గారితో, వీరయ్య గారితో, వీరందరితో కూడా నాకు అత్యంత అనుబంధం ఉంది. 1977 ఉప్పిన తుఫాన్లో వీరి సేవలు మా దివ్యసేనకు అనన్య సామాన్యంగా జరిగాయి. ఆ సమయంలో వారితో కలిసి పనిచేసే అవకాశం నాకు కలిగింది. ఎప్పుడైనా కూడా ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి కాసేపు కూర్చుంటే ఒక స్ఫూర్తి కలుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. ఈ ప్రాంగణంలో అడుగు పెడితేనే ఒక స్ఫూర్తి కలిగిద్ది. అలాంటి మహోన్నతమైన స్ఫూర్తి, దేశం కోసం త్యాగాలు చేసిన గొప్ప ప్రాంతం ఇది. స్వార్థం లేకుండా నిస్వార్థంగా సమాజ సేవకి ఇవాళ అంకితమైన ప్రాంతం ఇది, అంకితమైన కుటుంబం ఇది. అలాగే సమరం గారి గురించి చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఇవాళ ఒక శాస్త్రీయ దృష్టిని సమాజంలో పెంచడానికి ఒక వైద్యుడిగా ఆయన చేసిన కృషి అనన్య సామాన్యమైంది. ప్రత్యేకించి సెక్స్ సైన్స్ విషయంలో ఎవరో కూడా ఆ రోజుల్లో మాట్లాడేవాళ్ళు కాదు. ఆ రకంగా లైంగిక విజ్ఞానాన్ని వాళ్ళ సమాజానికి అందించి ఇది కూడా సమాజంలో అత్యవసరమైన విషయం అని చెప్పి చివరికి వాళ్ళ గొప్పగా ప్రయత్నం చేసిన వ్యక్తి సమరం గారు. ఈ రోజున పెద్దలందరూ వెళ్ళిపోయారు. మొత్తం బాధ్యత అంతా కూడా వాళ్ళ సమరం గారి మీద పడింది. అలాంటి సమరం గారి నాయకత్వంలో ఈ రోజున ఈ కార్యక్రమం జరుగుతుంది. నియంత గారు ఇంకా తదితర వారందరూ కూడా వాళ్ళ సహకారం అందిస్తున్నారు. తర్వాత మన వాళ్ళు కూడా వాళ్ళ అందిపుచ్చుకున్నారు. సంతోషకరమైన విషయం. ఇప్పుడు వికాస్ గోరా గారి ఉపన్యాసం మనం విన్నాం. మొత్తం యావత్ కుటుంబం కూడా అంటే ఆ తర్వాత తరాలు కూడా అందిపుచ్చుకోవడం గొప్ప విశేషం. గోరా గారి తరంతో ఆగలేదు. మునిమన వాళ్ళు కూడా అదే బాటలో నడుస్తున్నారు. అదే సామాజిక చింతనతో వాళ్ళు ముందుకెళ్తున్న పరిస్థితి వచ్చింది. అదే మునిమనుడు కూడా బాగా మాడారంటున్నారు. ఆ రకంగా ఇది గొప్ప కుటుంబం నిర్వహిస్తున్న కార్యక్రమం ఇది. ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి దేశ విదేశాల నుంచి చాలామంది ప్రముఖులు రావటం, మీ యొక్క ఉపన్యాసాల ద్వారా వాళ్ళ సమాజాన్ని చైతన్యం చేస్తారు. సమాజాన్ని ఒక సాంఘిక సేవా దృష్టిని వాళ్ళ సమాజంలో పెంపొందింప చేయడానికి ఈ సభలు దోహదపడాలని చెప్పి మనసారా కోరుకుంటూ సెలవు తీసుకున్నాను. జై హింద్.
Thank you very much, Mandala Buddhaprasad Garu and Gadda Ramanaravu. We just would like to felicitate you with a memento. Vijayalakshmi is wife of Wazir, who could not make it today, and also the first daughter-in-law of Seshgir Rao. Sadiq is a son of Rauri Arjun Rao and Manorama. Just to give you a because the speech was in Telugu, just will give you a snapshot in English, highlights. One is Mandala Buddhaprasad Garu has pointed out the kind of reformation work Gora and Saraswati have been doing, making people to think about the current world the world which is here, the materialistic world, not the other world. So moving away from a God-centric thinking to human-centric thinking, that's one of the key message he was talking about. He also highlighted the kind of relationship Gora had in terms of with the freedom movement and with Mahatma Gandhi, the conversations that have happened between them. And the concern Gora always had was the kind of encouraging of religion and caste into politics, and how it actually compromises the dignity and the values. So Gora stood firm that there is a need to have the separation of separation as well as thinking post-religious and casteless as well. He mentioned about the various satyagrahas that were done by Gora and Saraswati, especially on making sure how do you make ministers to be pompless, because once they are elected to power, they forget the plight of people. People still live in poverty, whereas ministers are staying in castles and in richness. So to make sure that ministers recognize the importance of their own voters, Gora talked about that ministers need to live simple and act as an example. He also highlighted on the various satyagrahas Gora also has done in Andhra Pradesh, as well as his march to Delhi, and the letters that he has written to Gandhi and Nehru as a matter of concern on how after independence India is actually moving not in the direction we all aspire to. So that concern was put in by Gora in various platforms and through various satyagrahas. He was also arrested in some of the satyagrahas. Still, Gora always stood firm on his principles. So he was also mentioning about the Manorama and Arjun Rao Garu's marriage that was supposedly to be taken place facilitated by Gandhiji, but he was assassinated. So that was done by Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister. He highlighted how the simplicity of Arjun Rao and how Arjun Rao also stood as a man of values. He actually was given a seat actually to contest in elections as a candidate depicting caste. But Arjun Rao turned down that, saying that he is actually fighting against caste system and he does not want that particular election seat. So this shows his integrity. And recently Arjun Rao's demise, he was 105 years old. I think he would have still lived longer if the COVID would not have impacted him. His integrity and values have always lived unto his last. And the way he highlighted the marriage that took place between Manorama and Arjun Rao was a marriage based on truth, not related to any religious or caste significance. So it highlights a unique revolution that took place in Gandhi Ashram, where Gora and Gandhi's discourses took it further. He also highlighted how the freedom fighters' families have not been continuing the spirit of nation building across, and the uniqueness of the Gora family and the generations. We are really humbled for that kind of a compliment. The Gora generations and the coming younger generations, you heard of Sahas and there are others who actually are continuing the spirit of inquiry and talking about the need to promote critical thinking and all that within their age itself. So he is applauding it. And Mandal Buddhaprasad Garu and Atheist Center and Gora's relationship and the Gora family's relationship has been there since 1970s, well before him as well, right from his father's era. And since 1977, when the cyclone struck Andhra Pradesh, Divisima, which is around 100 kilometers from here, close to 10,000 people died. And that's when a lot of humanitarian work and disaster response work was done by Lavanam, Hemlata, Samaram, Niyanta, and Chenpad Vijay, as well as Vijayam and all the Gora family members at that time. So his relationship with the family is there since 1970s, and he talks about the kind of inspiring conversations he had. He highlighted the need that the nation building, scientific outlook, and focusing on issues that impact the secular and humanist thought and action need to be carried forward, and he wishes the conference the very best.
Now I request Mr. Kumaresanji, the joint editor, modern rationalist, who is also the chief guest for this international conference, to kindly share his valuable address. The relationship between Periyar and Gora is too well known, so that still continues from the next level from Veramani and the Atheist Center, and now we have got various generational connect with the Periyar group. I'm very happy that Kumaresanji is here with us. Thank you.
Respected Chairman of Atheist Center, Dr. Samaram Garu, the atheist activist who belongs to the third generation of Gora's family, representing 5 generation members of Gora's family who has planned and executed and conducting this conference, Mr. Vikas Gora, the people's representative who spoke earlier to me, the MLA of Andhra Pradesh State, Mr. Gade Ramamohan, and the former Deputy Leader of State Legislative Assembly, Mr. Mandali Buddha Prasad, the dignitary who has come all along from United States, the co-founder of Freedom from Religion Foundation, Mr. Don Barker, Mr. Amardev Sharma, the Director of Community of Freedom from Religion Foundation, Mr. Amit Paul, the family, atheist family, the member of the atheist family who closely associated with our Periyar movement, the daughter of Sanal Edamurhu, Miss Sakti Edamurhu, the National President of Federation of Rationalist Association, an umbrella organization for all the Rationalist Association of our country, Professor Narendra Nayak, the President of Maharashtra Andhashrida Nirmulan Samiti, founded by the great stalwart in the eradication of superstition, Dr. Narendra Dabolkar, the present President, Mr. Avinash Patil, the Central Committee member of Humanist International, United Kingdom, Mr. Uttam Nirula, the President of Odisha Rationalist Society, as well as the Professor of Philosophy, our respectful Daneshwar Sahu, the members of Gora's family, the members of Atheist Center, the leaders and functionaries of various Atheist Rationalist Association of the country, the Rationalist Forum of Tamil Nadu, its President, Mr. Tamil Chelvan, and the functionaries and members of Dravadar Kalagam. Both these organizations were founded by the social revolutionary Periyar EVR and presently led by Asriyar Dr. K. Veeramani, and members who are attending well committed to the cause of atheism. Good morning to all of you. First of all, I pay respect. Recently, Atheist Center incurred a loss in the demise of the eldest member of Gora's family, the close associate, the forerunner associate of Gora and Saraswati Gora, Mr. Arjun Rao. He was not only a preacher, practitioner in the direction of Gora. He performed his own marriage as a casteless marriage with the eldest daughter of Gora, Madam Manorama. So at the time of grief, our leader, Asriyar Veeramani sent a condolence message. In this the international conference on behalf of Periyar movement and our leader Asriyar Veeramani, we pay respect to Mr. Arjun Rao. While inviting me to address, Vikas told the close association between Atheist Center and the Periyar movement. Yes, it started from the period of Periyar and Gora, long back. Even myself, I have got a close association with the Atheist Center, especially Mr. Vijayam. We can't forget, we have to remember always the role played by Vijayam Garu for the cause of atheism movement. In collaboration with the Atheist Center, we have conducted so many world atheist conferences. At that time, I had an opportunity to closely interact with, in person with Dr. Vijayam Garu. We traveled together, we ate together, we slept together in the one room. At that time, as a senior atheist activist, he used to advise, Kumaresan, whatever be the organization, we are fighting for the cause. We are co-worker. Still I am remembering the exact word. We are not only co-worker, co-fighters. That is the speciality of atheism. It is not a mere abstract ideology. It is not mere denial of God alone. On this occasion, I have to appreciate and congratulate the theme that has been formulated for this conference: atheism, secular thoughts and social action. Three components are involved. Atheism is not an ideology. It is not a concept. It is a natural feeling. Whoever born as human being, necessarily they have to be atheists. But connotation gives a different meaning. It is opposite for theism. Natural thing is atheism. Artificial thing is theism. Belief in God is an artificial thing. It is being inculcated on humans by the parents, by the society, by the environment. People used to say that atheists, they are all minority. No, it is not like that. We are majority. We are atheists or majority. Of course, openly we are declaring ourselves as atheists. We are denying God. Not only denying God, certain hurdles, certain drawbacks, certain degradation of humans, denigration of people have been made by God. Because of that, we can't simply deny God. We have to oppose God. That is our functional approach. That is the style. This is one category of population, we people. Another category of people who never bothered about whether God exists or not. Agnostic people are there. Then people who consider themselves as a major section, routinely they will do all the rituals, ceremonies. In a routine manner, they will pay visit to worshipping yard. Beyond that, there is no involvement at all. Because of the brought up in the family, they pretend as if they are having belief in God. The same people, they are of the opinion that if we deny God, what people they will say about us. In that way, they are exposing themselves as a believer of God. How can we accept they are actual believer? The people who are responsible for the sustenance of belief in God is only one sect of people. They are priestly class only. They are the people who are working hard that belief in God should continue. Our mentor, Periyar, used to say, in a jocular manner, in a humorous way, he used to tell, there are two people who are well aware there is no God. One is B category people, atheist. We know that there is no God. Another people is priestly class. They better know that there is no God. They are only very, very minuscule population. Minuscule population, whereas we are major population. So majority is fighting against minority. That is the actual situation. It is a negative impact that has been created on atheism. For that only Gora and Saraswati Gora, they advocated positive atheism. Positive method, it is a positive impact. It is a positive thing. It is not a negative thing. We are not negating anything. So we should not consider ourselves either individually or organizationally, force-wise, we are majority in the society. With that motive, we have to render service to the society. That is one aspect in the theme. Then secular thing means, secular means as per the dictionary, it is a Western concept. It should be non-religious. Who has to be non-religious? The governance of the state has to be non-religious. Religion means definitely it will be having some God, that's all. Every country, depending upon the nature of the society and environment, they will create God, they are worshipping. So religion in the sense, all countries, all people they are having some religion. But the predominant religion that is prevailing in our country cannot be equated to other religions. What is the predominant religion in our country? All of you are aware. The fundamentalists of that predominant religion, they are taking upper hand now. It is not a religion at all. Can you define that religion? Whereas other religion we can define. Whoever believes in that religion, religious, that founder, they will be identified with religion, Islam, Christian. Whereas the predominant religion that is prevailing in this country, what is the legal definition? Whoever is not a Christian, whoever is not a Islam, you tell your name, we are asking. No, my name is not like that. My name is not like that. With committedly, the law itself says it cannot be defined. How can be called as a religion? That is a speciality. Centuries together, it has created discriminated people. It has divided people. It created hierarchy. It did not stop with that. So based on the hierarchy, supreme sect is there, second category is there, third rank is there, lowermost Sudras are there. So beyond that, Panchamas are there. Even Panchamas also, untouchables, unseeable, unapproachable. How many divisions? All are created for the betterment of one supreme sect. It is a man-made discrimination that is designed as a religion. If it is told that as if man-made, at one point of time people, they will revolt. For that only they are bringing the God. God himself says like this, I only created the fourth division in the society. If God means people, they will not object. The enslaved people, Sudras, the lower rank people, they themselves, it is a dictum of God. We have to suffer. Not only suffer, they are glorifying the slavery and the suffering. That is the situation. In that situation, we have to enlighten the people as the atheists, as a rationalist, we have to enlighten the people. Last 2 days back, Mr. Don Barker and his team visited our Periyar Drill. At that time, our leader, Dr. Veeramani, he spoke while addressing, he told them. So United States also, it's a secular country, secular nation, but advanced on so many aspects. But in the currency note, invariably in all the currency note, there will be a mentioning, in God we trust. In God we trust. Atheists in United States, how can they trust How can they alienate the atheist in United States? But they are having secular that sentiments that respect everybody they are having. Individual freedoms are available for religious freedom available in United States. Whereas in our country, expressly constitution wise we have declared our country is a secular country. There they have mentioned as God, in God we trust. Whereas recently, you might have read in the newspapers, you are well aware of that news, certain super economists, they suggested the goddess of wealth image can be printed in the currency notes. If you print means the GDP will rise. GDP of the country will rise. Economists, they had suggested. But in spite of all these uprising fundamentalists, we people, we secularists, we rationalists, we atheists, we opposed that move, we nibbed the bud itself. That is the force which we are having in our country. As an atheist, we have to play a lot of things as far as social action is concerned. We can say there are two aspects. One is because of this hierarchy, lot of damages have been caused to the people that have to be set right. During the past, malady has happened. What is the remedy? In the name of social justice, we have to do certain things to our people. For that, Constitution has permitted. That is social justice, dispensation of social justice. This is one aspect. Another thing, how to enlighten people as if they are thinking they have got a respect in God and they are committed to the cause of theism. Actually, it is not like that. We have to enlighten those brethren, those sisters we have to enlighten. For that only, the fundamental duty has been prescribed in our Indian Constitution. The vital aspect is, it is the fundamental duty of every citizen to develop scientific temper. Spirit of inquiry. Spirit of inquiry is nothing but rationalism. Whatever we did in field, whatever we did as preaching, that has been made as a fundamental duty subsequently. Originally, at the time of introduction, it was not there. Subsequently, it was inserted. So, it is our duty to see we are the real citizens. We are the real citizens who are performing the fundamental duty of the country. Our duty is we have to make others to do the fundamental duty. These are all the challenges. This is all the social action we have to take. Of course, Vikas has at the time of description of that, he spoke elaborately on the theme. For paucity of time, another 3 days, the conference on various topics, we are going to deliberate. Some concrete solutions we have to make. It is not mere coming, sitting, listening and dispersing. Some concrete solution in each sitting. What is the action plan we have to? The next conference we have to appraise and we have to change our functional style. So in these 3 days, effective participation of the delegate is a must. With these few words, I thank the organizers of this international conference celebrating the birth anniversaries of Gora as well as Saraswati Gora for having given to our organization an opportunity to inaugurate this conference, as well as our leader, Asiriyar Dr. K. Veeramani, to depute me as well as many black shirt cadets of Periyar movement to this conference. Thank you, comrades. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kumarachandji. And please do convey our greetings to Veeramani Garu, who is now in his 90s and is growing young. We really wanted to see him here. I'm sure pretty soon he will be coming. So now I request Mr. Dan Barker, co-founder of Freedom from Religion Foundation, USA, to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here at this unique occasion celebrating the birthdays of the Goras. We know about the Goras in the United States. And for me, my first visit to India, this is a dream come true. I've always known about Atheist Center. I always wanted to visit, and now today, my prayers are answered. I was going to wear a nice coat, a nice suit and everything, but I came to India, but my luggage went to Africa. It's not here. 7 days I have no luggage, so. But I have black. Yeah. So I have black. That is good. In 1975, when Gora died, I was a Christian preacher, a Christian God-man. That was me. I was preaching the gospel. Do you want to go to hell? Do you want to have eternal life? You must believe on Jesus Christ to be saved. I use that voice. It is a phony voice. You know the preacher voice? The voice of God. You listen to the voice of God, and people get goosebumps. The voice of God. I was a young man. I was in my 20s then. I knew everything, you know, in your 20s. I was preaching. I preached for 19 years. I preached the gospel of Christianity. It's the same superstition. Christianity, Protestants, Catholics, Hindu gods, Muslim gods. It's the same superstition, the same idea that there is something above the natural world, something above humanity, something transcendent. I preached that for 19 years, and then 1983, I changed my mind. I became an atheist. And I then joined the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and then became one of the co-presidents of the Freedom from Religion Foundation in Madison, Wisconsin. And I forget the exact year, I think it was 1990, maybe 1992, 30 years ago, we had a very special visit from Lavanam, from here. He came to visit us at our little group. Our group had maybe 2,000 members at that time. Today we have almost 40,000 members. We are growing. People who want to keep religion and government separate. Freedom from religion. Freedom from religion means two things. First, there are many of us who are free from religion in our personal lives. We are atheists, agnostic, secular humanists. We don't care what we call each other. We like to say, whatever we call ourselves, we all disbelieve in the same God. So we don't believe in the same gods. So the second meaning of freedom from religion is that our government must be free from religion. Our government must be secular. We believe, according to our Constitution, that the government must be neutral. Our government must go like this. Take no position. Religion yes, religion no. It's not the government to decide. The people decide. But of course we know that that has been going backwards in our country and in your country. The very precious principles of secularism. I think here in 2014, we saw a big change moving backwards. And around 2016 in our country, we have a big change moving backwards. So we are fighting the same fight. In the United States, and here in India, and many parts of the world, we are fighting the same battle against, in my country, Christian nationalism, here, Hindu nationalism, but it is the same superstition. I have a question for you. If it is indeed true in the Constitution of India that it is the duty of every citizen to foster scientific temper, rationalism, humanism, if that is a duty, then are those Indians who do not foster science temper, who do not promote rationalism, who do not promote humanism, and who do push superstition, are they failing their duties? They are failing their duties as an Indian citizen. Is that true? So who are the true citizens in this country? You people. Raise your hand. You are the true citizens. So I really appreciate everything I wanted to say. You already said it. So I have nothing new to add except just to emphasize that I think we all agree that the best hope for the world is a secular government where we're all free to say yes, free to say no, free to marry who we choose, free to have our own sexual orientation, free to believe our own philosophies and moral philosophies as long as we are not causing harm. So I send you warm greetings from the Freedom from Religion Foundation in Madison, Wisconsin, in the United States. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dan. It's also very interesting to see your transformation from being a preacher to be a practitioner. That's quite a good, inspiring sharing. Now I request Mr. Amardev Sharma, Chair of European Council of Skeptical Organization, Germany, to kindly address the gathering.
So first of all, I must thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be here. I must say I'm really sad that this is just the first time I'm coming here, but seeing this, it's clearly an inspiration to come here again and again and again. So thank you to the organizers, and especially thank you to my dear friend, Professor Narendra Nayak, who pointed out that we are having this event here. So I changed my plans when I visited India to come here. Thank you very much. I personally have been mostly involved in the skeptical side of the whole, let's say the whole environment. And it was set off very early when I was, in fact, in Chennai at the time, with my dad leaving a newspaper around, and I saw that there was an astrologer who at the time said the world is going to end in 1991. Now, 1991 I think is gone. So I started as a child even calculating, well, I'll be at that time 35 years old, so I just have so much to live. But at the same time, in the same newspaper, there was one person who planted the seed of doubt in my mind. That was Abraham Kuvur, who objected and said, this is not true, forget it, it's pseudoscience, it is superstition. And that, together with some of the information that I got in the next couple of years when I moved to Germany, inspired me to set up the German Skeptics Organization, GWP, and European Council for Skeptical Organizations that are looking at all kinds of superstition. And one of the things that irritates me the most is homeopathy, because it is so strong both in India and in Germany, which seem to be major strongholds. Besides that, of course, we have astrology, of course, UFOs, and a lot of other things. But I think this has been mentioned before, one of the new things that is coming because of the internet, because of social media, is that we have a new kind of superstition, which is alternative facts that have nothing to do with the truth, and conspiracy theories, which have been propelling a lot of the movements against science, against secularism in the last decade and even longer. That is, I think, a huge threat, and I think it's also a need for organizations all over the world, like here internationally, globally, to come together, because that's, I think, one of the major threats facing us in the next decades, to not roll things back even more, like was mentioned in India and in the United States, and even in Europe. We see many governments, like in Hungary, going in the same direction. So that's a real threat that we need to work against. And I'm very happy to see, when I look at the back there, there's a lot of pictures, and I recognize some of them. I knew James Randi personally, so we see that this kind of an international effort is really needed. One of the things, in fact, that makes me the most upset is when you hear, both in India and in Europe and the United States, that things like secularism, materialism, that is a Western concept. Nothing can be further from the truth. I mean, we see here the Charvaka movement more than 2,000 years ago, establishing materialism in India. We know that similar things have been set up in China, in Persia and other places. This is not the kind of property of the Europeans and the Americans. This is truly a global heritage that we need to keep. So, moving forward, I think one of the things I'm going to take away from this meeting is, which we've not done so much in Europe, is to connect critical thinking, scientific inquiry, scientific temper, with social action, because there's so much that's going wrong based on superstition, based on alternative facts, and based on conspiracy theories. And I think that's a clear signal to us all. We need to work together now and in the future. Thank you very much, and thank you again to all the organizers.
Thank you very much, Madhya Sharma. So in fact, Atheist Center and Paul Kurtz, Professor Paul Kurtz, who was the founder of Center for Inquiry in the US and the skeptical movement also. We have a very close relationship with him. He invited Gora, and then he invited Lavanam and Vijayam, and many of our family members, including myself. We were there in the US as well, Center for Inquiry. And thank you very much for sharing. And in fact, we do see that there's a great need that there need to be a collaborative action between various organizations to collectively address and educate the people. There is a need for re-educating people. So just an education alone is not going to help. So embed scientific temper, critical thinking, discovery education within the system so that people start questioning. I think thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Now I request Ms. Saki Adamarku, Head of Digital Diplomacy, British High Commission, New Delhi, to share her. Saki Adamarku is Sanal Adamarku's daughter, Joseph Adamarku's granddaughter. So we have, now this looks like an absolute grandchildren's event. So we have a representation from across. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Like Vikas said, I am Joseph Adamarku's granddaughter, Sanal Adamarku's daughter, and I'm very pleased to be here today at Atheist Center celebrating the Gora family's birth centenary. I'm here to strengthen further the ties between the two families. The names that were mentioned today, many of the names, Paul Kurtz or Dr. Vijayam, all these names are something that I've grown up with. It's like I'm meeting some of these people for the first time, but I've grown up listening to stories of how my grandfather and my father worked very closely with all of them. So today, I'm here to strengthen further the ties between the Gora family and the Adamarku family. We share a long association of 3 generations. In the early 1960s, Gora visited Kerala, perhaps for the first time, where my grandparents were living at that time. Joseph Adamarku, my grandfather, was one of the pioneers of the rationalist movement in Kerala, the Yuktivada Sangam. Varki Shantistan, a Keralite Sarvodaya leader and the founding president of Ceylon Rationalist Association, and a common friend, introduced Joseph Adamarku to Gora. That was the beginning of a long association. Gora visited my grandparents' home and stayed there for some days. My father's son, Adamarku, used to tell me his fond memories of walking along with Gora in the streets of Kottayam, a small town in Kerala. He was probably 6 or 7 years old then. My grandparents were very impressed with the idea of positive atheism, which was mentioned today. I also learned about the secular social work movement of this family. So these are the ideologies that impressed him, and then my father, and this continued tradition that we would like to build further. Gora's eldest son Lavanam also visited Kerala. When the first World Atheist Meet was organized in 1970, my grandfather was a participant. He was also a member of the 5-member coordinating committee established then for promoting activities, rationalist activities across the country. I have grown up hearing stories about Gora and this legendary work. Atheist Center was a household name. Gora was not only the founder of the Atheist Center, but was also a former president of the Indian Rationalist Association from the 1970s till his death. Gora, the then president of the Indian Rationalist Association, visited Kerala again in 1973 and inaugurated the Kerala state level conference of the Rationalist movement organized by my grandfather in Kottayam. I heard stories about him staying at my grandparents' home then. In 1977, my father's son Ledamarku, who was a university student at JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, a prestigious university in India, he visited the Atheist Center. He attended a conference and stayed on for several days. He has told me about his close association with many of the members of the Atheist Center. Also, he told me about the little boy Vikas, who used to enthusiastically run around Dr. Vijayam and help his father in serving lunch and in organizing the the conferences then, Atheist Center conferences then. Over the years, now the third generation of the Gora family and the Idumarku family continue their long and historic cooperation. I am entrusted to express the full support and cooperation of Rationalists International, the Finland-based international network of rationalists, atheists, freethinkers, secular humanists, to the Atheist Center. On my behalf, I feel this is a moment to be cherished. I look forward to the continued and fruitful association with the Atheist Center at a time when India requires sane and firm voices to come together. We shall go united, hand in hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So I hope I'm still young, still the little boy for Sanat. Yes. Thank you for the kind words. And now I request Mr. Avinash Patel, Executive President, Maharashtra Andhashraddha Nirmulan Samiti, Mans, to share his. Yes, Avinash, welcome. So by the time he comes, I request Mr. Uttam Nirula, International Ambassador, Humanist International UK, to kindly share his thoughts.
Thank you, Vikas. Respected humanist activist being seated in the dais, and all the humanist members who are here in this program today. I feel very proud to be here because the Gora family or the Atheist Center is one of the inspiration for me as well. I remember coming to the Atheist Center in 2006 as a delegate from Nepal. Vikas was the vice president, I think, of International Humanist and Ethical Youth Organization, IHEO it used to call. So we celebrated International Youth Humanist Conference in 2006 in same place. So I recall this event. So after that, I continued my humanist activism in many ways. So I went to IHEO as a board member at that time. Then later on I went to the board member of International Humanist and Ethical Union. Now it is called Humanist International. So these days I am serving humanist movement as an international ambassador of Humanist International. Is Gora an inspiration not only to me but many of us? Some people might have physically met him, some people might have read about him. So there are a lot of ways we have learned about Gora and his movement. I think they are real founding fathers of this movement. Once we were studying about humanism and learning about humanism, it was generally considered as a Western idea, as a westernized idea. After coming to India, I repeatedly realized that the humanist movement is actually not a Western idea only, it's equally an Eastern idea. So realizing that, I'm now as a international ambassador of Humanist International, I'm trying to collect the name or the biography of legendary humanist activists and some movements in South Asia and China especially. I was very surprised to find Ajit Kesa Kambali's movement maybe some 3,000 years ago, and Charvaka movement, which is well known to us, Buddha's movement, and also movement initiated by our great founding fathers of Indian Constitution, including the Periyar and Gora, and there are other people as well. So I'm now collecting their biography and how their movement was focused on, in the word of Gora, not to make people slave, but to make them free mentally free. So I think that would be really one of the important collection. While I was visiting the library established by Atheist Center, I was very surprised because a lot of literature, especially South Asian culture has produced, are not really being taught, are not really being put in the library of the universities, especially from the humanist perspective, especially from the atheist perspective. The initiation Atheist Center has taken to digitalize the books or any other literature available is, I think, a very milestone activity. Thank you very much for initiating this. If Humanist International can be a part of this, we would love to be a part of this, because this is what we have to preserve, because the world should know how our humanist movement, rationalist movement, or atheist movement were in those days. So that kind of literature are very, very important for international community as well. So this is very interesting project. And other thing is Dan also rightly mentioned that the Constitution of India is the most humanist constitution, or very atheistic, most atheistic tilted constitution in the world. So we are the people who are standing here, especially the citizen of India, are the duty bearer of the Constitution of India. I think this is really best part of Indian constitution. But if you see the other side, Indian society is the one which is suffering most because of this populist movement and the right-wing fundamentalism. So those people who are anti-constitutional, I think we have, it is the right time to speak against them. So we need a lot of, let's say, networking and collection of evidences to fight against them, because this is not only the Indian community which is fighting against populism. It's also happening in European communities, also happening in USA. So we need to have a stronger network and bonding. The Humanist International is an umbrella organization of all humanist, rationalist, atheist, and like-minded organizations. Atheist Center is also one of the members. Also, we are lucky to have Periyar Center, and there are other organizations like FIRA, and organizations in Europe and USA. They are the member organizations of Humanist International as well. So it is time to collect all the evidences and voice and network us in stronger manner than in the past, so that we can campaign strongly in international level. Like we have a very good representation in United Nations. We have dedicated staff members working there. We have dedicated staff members working together with the European Union. So we have other dedicated members working in other international human rights channels. So we need to, I think, work together with them so that our voice would be louder and stronger. As rightly mentioned, humanists are not the minority people. Of course, by birth, everyone is almost atheist because they don't know who the God is. But even if you count the citizens of the world, we are the third majority or minority groups in the world. So being third majority group is actually not a minority. It's a huge number of people. If you see Britain, very recently there was a census done, and more than 37% of the citizens of Britain don't believe in any God. If we rightly count our population, I'm sure we will have a really significant number of people. So I think it is the time to establish a campaign to count in the census about how many people are non-religious or humanist in India or in South Asia, especially in, let's say, in Nepal or Bangladesh. I'm not sure if it is possible to count that in Pakistan, but still we have to keep speaking on that. If we count, or if the government will officially recognize us as a minority group, I think from that point we can do a lot of campaign and advocacy. So my humble request is, why not the strong legendary organizations, humanist organizations in India, at least come together and lobby with the government for counting us, at least putting our name in the census, so that we will know how many of us are there. So after that we can take our activism in next level. So for that, if Humanist International can be your partner, we are very much willing to partner with you, and from that point we can do a lot of other activism as well, because we need to be officially recognized, because the Constitution has technically already recognized, the Indian Constitution, but we need to be recognized in the census as well. Having said that, thank you again for inviting me here, inviting Humanist International here. I'm sure Andrew Copson, the president of Humanist International, has already sent a letter to Atheist Center. Yeah, maybe because we'll present that letter to the delegates here as well. So again, thank you very much, Atheist Center, for inviting us and letting us put this voice in front of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Uttam. In fact, tomorrow we are going to read out the messages that have come from across the world. And now I request Mr. Amit Pal, Director of Communication, Freedom from Religion Foundation, to share his message.
Thank you so much, Vikas, and thank you so much for having us, especially at short notice. I have to thank, and he's currently just stepped out, Mr. Avinash Patil from MANS, the head of the Maharashtra Andhashraddha Nirmulan Samiti, for making this, well, for Dan, of course, it'll be the most memorable trip because this is his first trip, but I am from India, and I have been 30 years in the US, 30 plus years, have come many, many times, and I can say, with the possible exception of the trip where I got married, this has been my most memorable trip by far in India. And it's been so incredible in Mumbai, meeting free thinkers and rationalists. In Chennai, our friends at the Periyar Society organized a really memorable event for us, and now this. It's been absolutely amazing, and amazing at so many levels. I wanted to give a brief comparison between India and the US, and in this, because of the efforts of groups like the Periyar Society and the Atheist Center, the Indian South is so much better in comparison to the American South. And let me explain. Let me explain, because of efforts of rationalists and free-thinking groups, a much less, at least in good part, a much smaller percentage of South Indians are susceptible and agreeable to the Hindu nationalist political message as compared to residents of the American South who are majority supporters of Christian nationalism and what is called the Bible Belt. And Dan, of course, is an expert on that, on that subject in the United States. You know, like the Bible Belt. And it is the Bible Belt, very, very Christian nationalists, strongest supporters of Trumpism, you know, the right-wing populism that our friend from Nepal has referred to, that both countries are afflicted with. So that is the problem, that the idea, the very foundational ideas of democracy, secularism, progressivism have been under threat in recent times in India and the United States. 2014 here, 2016, as Dan mentioned, in the United States, marked quite a sea change. There have been crises before. Of course, this is not the first BJP government in India also, but the previous one was, I think we all will agree, at least somewhat different. And the manifestation in the United States was the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, 2021, of which white Christian nationalism formed a major component. In fact, we at FFRF, in conjunction with a Christian group, actually did a report on how white Christian nationalism was the foundation for the attack on Congress. Now pretty much 2 years ago, yes, 2 years ago, almost exactly, pretty much. The United States has partly stepped back from the brink of completely succumbing to that notion. Trump wanted the election results declared null and void. His own vice president refused, after a lot of hemming and hawing and searching for ways to do that, but in the end did not go along. In the recent midterm elections, mixed results, It was thought that Trump and Trumpism would get a big boost. Did not happen. Yet. Let's not forget, people owing allegiance to Trump still control the lower house of Congress. That's the House of Representatives. Here in India, of course, the situation is worse, with the exception of maybe the state we are in, the state my friends at Periyar Society are from, and the state they control in some sense socially, and Kerala. These three states and maybe one or two others, the BJP is dominant, including, I am so sad to say, especially in my family's home state of UP, Yogi, we all know his political inclination. And the institutions here are under attack one after one, which is why the work you all do is so invaluable. A point of comparison between India and the US, the courts have been taken over by the right wing. In the United States, of course, we saw this with the abolition of abortion as a right. So now pretty much in half the US states it's illegal, because 1/3 of the Supreme Court justices, 1/3 of the federal court system appointed by Trump. Here, I need not tell you, anybody who follows the news, there's been a clash between the judiciary and the ruling party. More and more, they are succumbing to or being afraid of Hindu nationalism, the media in this country, and please attend the workshop on media that I'll be a part of. I can explain more the differences in terms of the media and the similarities between India and the US. But at the core, as our friend from Nepal, Mr. Narla has mentioned, at the core is this notion of populism, right-wing populism, that the ruling, well, not in the US right now, but Trumpism and the ideology of the ruling party in this country represent the majority, that they represent the true will of the majority, because of which the rights of other people do not matter and institutions do not matter. And because they represent the real feelings of the people, they can do anything that they want, including subverting and destroying the Constitution. And this is a major worry in both countries. As I said, a bit less in the US, a bit more so here. Here, because of the electoral system, with just 40% of the vote, BJP is able to translate that into a huge majority of seats. In the United States, two-party system, 40% or so of the vote. Trump barely got into power because of a quirk in the US system, because of rigging or redrawing the boundaries. The Republicans are able to get a majority even when they don't deserve it. So similar problems over there. Of course, a major difference, and this is what you all are fighting and I admire so much, is the role of right-wing movements. The United States has mega churches, it has white Christian movements, but nothing compared to the Hindutva, the Sangh Brotherhood, and the RSS and its affiliated organizations. So it's a major battle that you all are fighting for secularism, for minority rights, for freedoms, for political freedoms. And Dan was so amazed by the influence that the Periyar Society has had. He was unaware. And now he knows, in making sure that Hindu nationalism does not make inroads into Tamil Nadu. You all are playing the same role here in Andhra Pradesh. The Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishad is playing the same role in Kerala and other progressive movements. And as a result, you all have been spared what has afflicted the Hindi belt, unfortunately. We're going to meet members of the Tark Shield Society who are fighting the same battle in Punjab. So I thank you all. Yeah, and I thank you all for giving me hope and giving me encouragement, because when I talk with my relatives or many of my classmates, etc., I'm sorry to say they are all supporters of Modi and the right wing. And you know, I think to myself, maybe I'm living in the US, maybe I'm missing something, maybe I'm wrong, because I don't live in this country, maybe he's doing good. But when I hear you all, my thoughts are affirmed, my notions are affirmed that we need a secular, progressive India, and thank you all so much for fighting for that.
Thank you very much, Amitji. Now I request Avinash Patilji.
Yeah.
kindly share his message.
Thank you, Vikas. I am very glad to stand in front of all of you, remembering Dr. Vijayam Gora. So he is very much beloved to our organization. He is coming in Maharashtra 2-3 times and invited me in 2017. Here only the Atheist conference has happened. First of all, I am very much thankful to our Gora family, Dr. Gora, the convener of this convention, to invite me, and with me the Diane Barker and Amitabh. They are on India tour for knowing India and Indian rationalists. From 30th December, they are arrived to Mumbai, and Dan has lost his bag on the Mumbai airport. Till now, around 1 week has going on, but he not get the bag from airport authorities. So he is wearing some limited clothes there. But he is enjoying the India tour from last 6-7 days. Because in Mumbai, then after southern Maharashtra, North Maharashtra, where we have our organization's headquarters in Dhule, he has visited. Then after, just now, Amitabh has told that we are visited to Dravid Kalgam's head office, Periyar Thedal, and interaction with Dr. Assyria, Dr. K. Virmani sir. They are inspired they have always inspired to our rationalist movement in India. They have a face as a senior most rationalist, belongs to India, our world. So I am very much happy to talk about, just to introduce about the just few things about our organization and our thoughts in present situation. Rationality for development of humanity is the essential things to understand by all type of rationalists. In the rationalist there is a atheist, agnostic, free thinker, non-believer, all type of rationalists. We have to understand that our rationality belongs to humanity, and we have to stand for inculcate the scientific temperament with humanitarian approach in our society. So that Maharashtra Andhashraddha Niman Samiti has also established and pioneered and developed by Dr. Narendra Dabholkar, with a few colleagues have reached a great successive point which was not expected by the establishers also. It initiated through exposition of minor godman, claiming the divine blaze, and today reached to scientific temperament, criticism of religion, secularism, and rationality for humanity, with credit to pass 2 bills to prevent the exploitation through superstition. It has completed its 34 years journey with creative works and ideological self and social perception for human development. Rationality for development of humanity is the theme of that we have arranged this international conference in August 2019 in Mumbai. It reflects the fundamentals of man's. Our urgent need is to understand the importance of rationality for the development of humanity. Humanity has been developing since its inception, but it has to change its dimensions according to time and human conditions within natural circumstances. Once in ancient time, religion developed different concepts and dimensions with divine powers such as God, Goddess, and incarnations. However, later development of sciences and humanities changed the discourse of religion and humanity, reached to modern thoughts of freedom, justice, equality, and rationality without religion and celestial powers. Mans did the same in Maharashtra to change the perception of common people towards these aspects. Our experience of 34 years show that superstition is one of the main hurdles in the establishment of humanity in the world. They don't give ample space for the development of the woman, downtrodden and deprived, but it makes exploitation of these classes easily. Superstition create godmen, they create rituals as their business, they sell their products from divine powers to any minor objects of the life. Unscientific thoughts, lack of criticism and evaluation of customs and traditions, fake pride of traditions and religion make possibility of exploitations of commons through superstition. Superstition spread exploitations everywhere. The 5 prime fundamentals of the man's widely reflected the rationality of man's for the development of the humanity. To oppose the atrocious and evil superstitions, constructive criticism of religion, to promote scientific temperament, to promote legacy of science and values of constitution, and to collaborate with like-minded organizations, show the kernel of our activities and programs to establish and promote humanity. Dr. Narendra Davolkar used to say, to create an ethical society is ultimate objective and dreams of man. Today, world is shaken due to power of political and religious extremists throughout the world. They don't care for values like rationality and humanity. This is not their priority. Their priority is the power. Taking these all points at the back of mind, man's organize dialogues with our international delegates, like-minded who work in their respective nations against the superstition. They may contribute their thoughts, ideas, concepts and perceptions on a single platform where humanists will gather from entire world. I think this Atheist conference is the one of the platform run by Atheist Center in Vijayawada. Let's keep hand in hand for humanity. Let's walk with a pace of rationality. It's praise science and progress for happiness. Zindabad, Jai Insan.
Thank you very much, Avinashi. Now I request Dhaneshwar Sahuji, President, Humanist and Rationalist Organization, Odisha. Please note that in the afternoon session, we have much more detailed discussions as well. So all the dignitaries are sharing just the flagship points. Thank you.
Esteemed Chairman, sir, all rationalist luminaries on the dais and of the dais, it is a great pleasure to be here and to be enlightened by the learned speakers. I have some sweet memories about this center. Going down the memory lane, perhaps 43 years back I came to this organization, to this center to attend the second World Atheist Conference. In the meanwhile, more than 4 decades have passed, and what I learned in my young age in that conference turned to be the philosophy of life in my practical life. And as I understand, rationalists are the pioneers of civilization. They have taken civilization ahead, but the greatest irony is the rationalists, the atheists, the freethinkers, they have met with lot of opposition in their contemporary society because they are much ahead of their time. But what they teach, what they contribute, that makes great advancement in the history of human civilization. Some years back I had read a book, an American author, 2000 years of disbelief. Sir, 2000 years of disbelief. I am forgetting the name of the author. James Hunt, yes, James Hunt. And in that book, he has discussed how great scientists, statesmen, social reformers, philosophers, literary figures, they have made significant contribution to human civilization across the world, and all of them are atheists or rationalists. So, in our country, as we know, rationalists, we have a long tradition. Being a student of philosophy, I have read the Indian philosophical systems in little minor detail, and I know out of 9 systems of Indian philosophy, all systems have dearth of literature except one system, that is Lokaya Darshan or philosophy of Charvak. Not a single treatise has been found out. Maybe in some historical point of time, all his literature has been destroyed. So, but he has contributed very significantly to the cause of rationalism, atheism, free thought, critical thinking, all the modern values, the Renaissance, post-Renaissance values that have been there. And particularly after the European Renaissance and the Age of Enlightenment, there came a sea change in the intellectual framework of humanity. Rationalists in all civilizations and in all countries, they made great contribution to the march of science, to the march of humanism. Very often I compare the idea or comprehend the idea that rationalism is just like a triangle and its base points are humanism and rationalism, scientific temper. So it is science that has brought us a lot of comforts, that has elevated our life, and it is, but unfortunately we are not promoting, or promotion of a scientific temper has not become very widespread. So it is our task, a very onerous task, to take this idea, to take this philosophy to the common people. Particularly, we have to impress upon our children that living rationally and promoting the humanistic values of life will make our life more meaningful, more significant, and that is the value I have learnt. And very often it is Bijam, Labaram, they were very close to me, very affectionate, and I have learnt many things from their writings, with from their discussions. So also it is Periyar, it is Abraham Kavur and many others. They have given us the light to take it to the common people. We have many challenges on all fronts. Still, we have reason with us, we have humanism with us, and these are our two greatest weapons to fight out all social evils and all sorts of dogmas, because rationalists are always fighting against mental slavery. May it be social slavery or may it be intellectual slavery, they are great threats to the progress of culture, progress of civilization and progress of values. So my humble submission is that we the rationalists should be the torch bearers to bring qualitative change in the existing system of our society and in the value patterns of our life. Thanking you for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words.
Thank you very much, Dhaneshwar Sahuji. Now I request Mr. Sumit Singh from representing Takshil Society Punjab to share a few words.
Respected, distinguished guests on the stage and off the stage, Gora family members and all my friends. I am from Takshil Society Punjab, who is working in the field of propagating scientific temper from the 1984 when Khalistani movement was at its peak, but our society opposed the Khalistani movement and raised the issue of scientific temper in those days. I am very glad to participate in the 120th Goras and 110th Saraswati Goras Birth Centenary International Conference in Vijayawada. I have been very inspired by the rational and pragmatic philosophy of great atheist Gora and the social and humanitarian works being done by the Atheist Center Vijayawada to promote atheism, rationalism and humanism in the society. As per Article 51AH, it is a fundamental duty of every citizen of India to develop scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. All the rationalists, atheists and humanists and secular organizations in India are doing their fundamental duty to propagate scientific awareness and sense of humanism as per above article. Our country was declared a secular state after the 42 amendment in the Indian Constitution in the year 1976, and the words secular and socialist were added in the preamble. The basic principle of a secular state is that the government should have no religion of its own, and it will neither give shelter to any religion or particular religion, religious organizations, nor will interfere in the affairs of any religion. Secularism means the separation of religion from state, political, economic, social, educational and cultural aspects of life, and religion be treated in the personal domain of an individual. The ethical values developed in a secular person are the product of his rational, scientific and independent thoughts instead of any religion. It is also a fact that secularism cannot exist as a positive value in the society without implementation of fundamental rights of freedom, equality, democracy and social and economical justice as given in the Constitution. So secular thought is directly associated with these fundamental rights. Religion was the creation of man in different countries and in different times according to conditions existing there. Similarly, so-called soul in the man is an invention of Western interest of priests to build up the mythical concepts of rebirth, Yamraj, heaven, hell, etc. Religion creates spiritualism, orthodoxism, superstitions and many more baseless traditions which are major obstacles in the development of a country and rational society. Religion has divided man from man and country from other countries on communal basis. Many crores of peoples have been killed in wars, riots, massacres occurred due to communal hate and egoism. between different religions of the world. So religion is the worst enemy of mankind. Shahid Bhagat Singh has rightly said in his prominent book, Why I Am an Atheist, when religion mixes with politics and state, it becomes poison which destroys humanity and society. Similarly, a great rationalist, Periyar E.V. Ramasamy, very clearly said, there is no God, there is no God, there is no God at all. He who invented God is a fool, he who propagates God is a scoundrel, and he who worships God is a barbarian. He also said, if it is true that God could be realized and reached by man only with a religion, then why should there be so many religions? Why are there controversies, irregularities and contradictions among the religions created by man? If God and religion are for the welfare of mankind, then why should there be bloodshed in religious wars, massacres and riots in the name of religion? A great scholar and committed atheist, Gora, said that man by nature is an atheist, but his family and culture makes him a theist. Human nature is to ask questions, but theism, tradition and religion suppresses him not to question and doubt, but only just to believe and keep faith in the holy books. He was of the opinion that God is essentially the creation of slave minds. He said that people are taught forcibly by their parents to believe in the existence of God, and hence they believe in God. He also said that prayer before the so-called God is the most selfish task of these peoples. Gora felt that concepts like rebirth, astrology and extrasensory perception cannot be accepted as true, since they do not stand the scrutiny of scientific investigation. Another known rationalist of India, Dr. Abraham Thomas Kaur, also said that God is nowhere in the universe. Nobody has any, and nobody ever had supernatural power, and who claimed it can be a cheater or a mentally retarded person. He also challenged many godmen, including Satya Sai Baba, and exposed his miracles in the presence of his followers. While exposing godmen, Dr. Kaur claimed that he who does not allow his miracles to be investigated is a crook. He who does not have the courage to investigate is a gullible, and he who is prepared to believe without verification is a fool. It will not be out of place to mention here that many Babas who claims to have supernatural powers have been punished to life sentence in the criminal cases of murders. Just for example, Gurmeet Rahim and Asaram Bapu, they are involved in the cases of murder, rape, kidnapping, corruption and other illegal activities, and they are in jails. Blind followers of such criminal Babas should think logically that why these Babas do not utilize their so-called supernatural powers now to release themselves from all the criminal cases and come out of from jail. Actually, these governments are exploiting the innocent peoples with blind faiths, and a wide business has been set up by them with the political shelter of politicians, bureaucrats and governments. From the last few years, some right-wing fanatics are threatening secularism, rationalism and atheism in our country. Our democratic rights of liberty, equality, social and economic justice, including freedom of expression of independent thoughts and especially scientific thought, are being prohibited by the governments as well as by the communal organizations sheltered by the imperialistic state. It is a matter of wonder that instead of reflecting the scientific outlook in students, irrelevant, irrational and mythological chapters are being included in the syllabus in the period of 21st century. Fanatics are attacking progressive scholars, journalists, social activists, writers, lawyers, rationalists, artists, Dalits, Adivasis, minorities and other political opponents. Many of them are in jails from the last 4 years in false cases of sedition under UAPA and other false cases without any hearings by courts. the renowned lyricist Dr. Nrinder Dabolkar, scholar Professor M.M. Kulbargi, social activist Govind Pansare, and journalist Gauri Lankesh became the victims of these fanatics in the last years. Many of the scholars, lawyers, journalists are in jails just because they are opposing government's anti-people policies, fascism and black laws like UAP, AFSPA, NSA, etc. It is a violation of the Article 19 and 21 of freedom of speech and life given under our Indian Constitution. Actually, these types of communal forces are doing anti-people's hatred politics of religion, and their main purpose is to capture political power at every cost. Though thousands of people, innocent people, may be killed, they must not forget that 10 lakhs innocent people were killed at the time of bloodshed partition of Hindustan on communal grounds. Pakistan, which was divided on religious grounds in 1947, again broke in two parts in 1971, resulting in a new nation of Bangladesh. It is a matter of concern that interference of religion is being increased in politics of India, and most of the political parties select candidates on the basis of religion and caste. This type of communal politics is very dangerous for the common man and secularism, for which all the secular, rationalist and democratic mass organizations should oppose fascism so as to save the real democracy and democratic rights in our country. It is therefore suggested that all the rationalists, atheist, humanist and secular organizations should strongly demand that an all India anti-superstition law should be implemented throughout the country to eradicate blind faiths, miracles and other social evils and illegal activities done by Babas, Tantrics and astrologers under the name of religion. Religion must be separated from state, politics, government, education and judiciary also. No government funds and grants should be issued by ministers, MPs or MLAs or government officials to religious institutions, religious places or for any religious purposes, as this is a taxpayer's money which should be incurred on the development of public. Those political parties which do their politics on religious grounds should be banned by the Central Election Commission and their recognition may be cancelled. Similar non-political organizations preaching communism and casteism in the society must also be banned. All the democratic rights of citizens, including liberty, freedom of expression of thought, scientific outlook, equality, social and economic justice should be ensured by the governments. Secular associations and youth groups should be encouraged in every state to promote inter-religious and inter-caste marriages, which can help in making peace and harmony and eradicating communal conflicts between different religions and castes. State governments, local administrations should organize scientific awareness seminars to develop a sense of scientific temper and humanism among the society as per Article 51AH of Indian Constitution, especially in downtrodden peoples and in backward areas. Cable TV Network Rules 1994 and Drugs, Magic Remedies, Objectionable Advertisement Act 1954 should be strictly implemented by governments so as to curb the superstitions, blind faiths, miracles and illegal activities of Babas, Tantrics and astrologers in the media, innocent people. So it is the need of the day to unite and struggle to establish a rationalist, atheist and humanistic society for the betterment of the common man so as to develop our country on scientific and humanitarian grounds and to save our democratic rights. I am really very thankful to the Atheist Center and the organizers for giving me the opportunity to express my scientific views in this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now finally I request Narendra Naik ji to share his views, and we also have a detailed session today evening with the guest lecture of Narendra Naik ji, please.
Thank you very much, Vikas. All atheists, humanists on this side as well as that side. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to say a few words as a preliminary introduction to what I am going to speak and demonstrate and probably have discussed with you in the evening. First of all, first person I missed was Mrs. Saraswati Gora. She used to sit there. When I walked in, she used to ask, "Have you had your breakfast?" Have it. That place was taken by Dr. Vijayam. I'm missing him also very much. She was like a mother, he was like an elder brother to me. Like we are missing Lavanam also. Anyway, it's time for us to always move on. Now I'm happy that Dr. Samaram, Niyanta and Vikas, as well as the next generation and the next generation of Goras are all in the same path. They and Ms. Adambarku here have an advantage over us. Most of us are twice born atheists. We were born as atheists, but we got converted to theism and again we gave it up. But not these people. Their being born as atheists setting was never changed. Yeah. So we have that disadvantage, or rather I do not know what it is, that we are all twice born atheists. Anyway, the move for scientific temper starts from the grassroots. It starts from questioning. And how do you make the common man on the street question? That's what we have been trying since a long, long time. And now I know another question will come from you. When are you winding up? We are hungry for lunch. So I answer that. I'm winding up for the present now. But I threaten you that I'm continuing in the evening. Yeah, and I hope all of you will be there and more will be there. Thank you very much.
That is short and sweet. Finally, I request G. Ishwaraya, CPI State Member of AP, to share a few words, please.
గోరా గారి అదేవిధంగా సరస్వతి గారి 120-110వ సభల సందర్భంగా భారతదేశవ్యాప్తంగా ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా వచ్చినటువంటి నాస్తికవాదులకు హేతువాదులందరికీ కూడా పేరు పేరున అభినందనలు తెలియజేస్తా ఉన్నాను. నేను మామూలుగా గమనిద్దామని చెప్పి వచ్చాను. ఈలోపు ఇక్కడ పైన ఉన్నటువంటి నిర్వాహకులకు నా పేరు ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. ఏమైనా నేను విద్యార్థి దశలో నుంచి నాకు గోరా గారి ఆశ్రమంతో డైరెక్ట్గా పరిచయం లేకపోయినప్పటికీ నేను ఏఐఎస్ఎఫ్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు నా తోటి మిత్రులు కొంతమంది ఇక్కడ నాస్తిక సంఘంలో పనిచేస్తూ వారు ఇచ్చేటువంటి పుస్తకాలు అవన్నీ కూడా నేను అప్పుడే చిన్నప్పుడే అధ్యయనం చేస్తూ నేను నాస్తికవాదిగానే పెరిగాను. నేను మ్యారేజ్ చేసుకునే సందర్భంలో కూడా తాళి తలంబ్రాలు ఇలాంటి వాటికి వ్యతిరేకంగా నిలబడి గట్టిగానే నా వంతు ప్రయత్నం కొనసాగిస్తా ఉన్నాను. ఇప్పటికి కూడా అంటే ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా దేశవ్యాప్తంగా ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రమాదంలో కూడా ఇళ్లల్లో కూడా వచ్చేసింది అలాంటి ప్రభావం. అయినప్పటికీ కూడా తట్టుకొని గట్టిగా నిలబడ్డటువంటి పరిస్థితి ఒకవైపున కొనసాగుతూ ఉంది. ఈరోజు ప్రధానంగా దేశవ్యాప్తంగా చాలా ప్రమాదమైనటువంటి ఘటనలు జరుగుతూ ఉన్నాయి. వ్యక్తి స్వేచ్ఛ కానీ భావ ప్రకటన స్వేచ్ఛ కానీ లేదా ఉన్మాదానికి వ్యతిరేకంగా అది ఏ మతంలో ఉన్నా సరే, అది హిందూ మతంలో ఉన్నా, ముస్లింలో ఉన్నా, క్రిస్టియన్లో ఉన్నా, ఇతరేతర ఏ మతాల్లో ఉన్నా ఆ ఉన్మాదానికి వ్యతిరేకంగా మాట్లాడి సైన్స్ పరంగా నిలబడాలంటేనే కష్టమవుతున్నటువంటి పరిస్థితి ఈరోజు దేశంలో కనిపిస్తూ ఉంది. చిన్న ఉదాహరణ, ఒక 3 రోజుల క్రితం ఒక ఉపాధ్యాయుడు మూఢనమ్మకాలకు వ్యతిరేకంగా పాఠ్యాంశం చెబుతూ ఉంటే అందులో ఉన్నటువంటి కొంతమంది ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్ బజరంగ దళ కార్యకర్తలు వచ్చి నువ్వు ఇలా బోధించడానికి వీల్లేదు, ఇలానే బోధించాలన్నారు. దాని వెనుక పక్కకు పూర్వాపరాల్లోకి వెళ్ళేటప్పటికీ గణేష్ ఉత్సవాలకు సంబంధించి చందా ఇవ్వలేదనేటువంటి ఉద్దేశంతో అలాంటి ఒక దుర్మార్గకరమైనటువంటి ఘటన పాల్పడడం జరిగింది. ఇదొక్కటే కాదు, గౌరీ లంకేష్ గారిని, లేకపోతే దబోల్కర్ గారిని, లేదు గోవింద్ పన్సారే గారిని, వీళ్ళందరినీ కూడా దారుణంగా భావజాలాన్ని వ్యాప్తి చేస్తూ ఉంటే హత్య చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. కాబట్టి ఇలాంటి వాటికి వ్యతిరేకంగా గట్టిగా కమ్యూనిస్టు పార్టీ ఒకవైపున ఫైట్ చేస్తూ ఉంది. ఇక్కడ వాళ్ళందరికీ తెలుసు ఆ స్థాయిలో కావాల్సినటువంటి ఫైటింగ్ నేచర్ ఇంకా కమ్యూనిస్టు పార్టీల్లో కూడా కొంచెం అక్కడ పెద్దలు సమరం గారు ఇక్కడే ఉన్నారు కాబట్టి కొన్ని అంశాలు తెలుసు. ఇంకా ఆ స్థాయిలో ఫైట్ చేయాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం కమ్యూనిస్టు పార్టీలకు కూడా ఉంది. ఎప్పుడైతే కమ్యూనిస్టు పార్టీలు బలంగా పెరియార్ ఈవి రామస్వామి, బహుశా ఇక్కడ వాళ్ళందరికీ తెలుసు ఈవి రామస్వామి గారిని తమిళనాడులో కేరళలో ఎక్కువ మంది కమ్యూనిస్టు బాగా ఇష్టపడతారు. కానీ ఇక్కడ ఆ ప్రభావం చాలా మందికి ఇప్పుడు ప్రజెంట్ ఉండేటువంటి జనరేషన్కు తెలియనట్టు పరిస్థితి ఉంది. అలాంటి సందర్భంలో నేను కమ్యూనిస్టు పార్టీ కడప జిల్లా కార్యదర్శిగా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఈవి రామస్వామి గారిని కడప జిల్లాకు ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసి రాష్ట్ర వ్యాప్తంగా ఈరోజు ఈవి రామస్వామి గారిని, పెరియార్ ఈవి రామస్వామి గారిని, అదేవిధంగా నారాయణ గురు గారిని, ఇలాంటి వాళ్ళ యొక్క ఆలోచన విధానాన్ని కూడా తీసుకొని పోతా ఉన్నాం. కానీ మన అందరిపైన హేతువాదుల పైన ఎవరైతే హేతువాదులుగా ఉన్నామో, ముఖ్యంగా కమ్యూనిస్టు పార్టీ మార్క్స్ చెప్పినటువంటి పద్ధతుల్లోనే భౌతికవాదం, డైలెక్టికల్ మెటీరియలిజాన్ని ఏదైతే నమ్ముతామో ఆ భౌతికవాదం అనేటువంటి దాన్ని తగ్గిపోతున్నటువంటి సందర్భంలో భావవాదం బాగా పెరిగిపోతా ఉంది. ఆ భావవాదంలో భౌతికవాదం ఖచ్చితంగా నిలబడాలంటే ఎప్పటికైనా కూడా సైన్సే ప్రధానంగా సమాజాన్ని ముందుకు నడిపిస్తుంది. ఆ సైన్స్ను మనం ముందుకు తీసుకొని పోవాలంటే ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా ఉన్నటువంటి ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో అలాంటి వాళ్ళందరం కలిసి ఫైట్ చేయాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఉందని చెప్పి ఈ సందర్భంగా మీకందరికి కూడా విజ్ఞప్తి చేస్తూ, ఆల్రెడీ మీరు అలాంటి పోరాటంలో ఉన్నారు, ప్రాణాలకు తెగించి పోరాటంలో భావజాలాన్ని వ్యాప్తి చేస్తున్నట్టు వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు. దేవుడు దయ్యము ఇలాంటి మూఢనమ్మకాలకు వ్యతిరేకంగా నిలబడుతున్నట్టు వాళ్ళు చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు. ఈరోజు దేశవ్యాప్తంగా దొంగ స్వామీజీలు, దొంగ బాబాలు, ఇప్పుడే చెప్పారు పెద్దలంతా కూడా పంజాబ్ నుంచి మాట్లాడినటువంటి ఒక కామ్రేడ్ గారు చెప్పారు. ఇలాంటి వాళ్ళకు బాగా పరపతి పెరుగుతూ ఉంది. అలాంటి సందర్భంలోనే సత్యసాయిబాబాకు వ్యతిరేకంగా నేను చిన్నప్పుడు చదువుకున్నప్పుడు సాయిబాబా సన్నాయిబాబా అనే సంగతి అంతా తెలిసినాదిరా సాయిబాబా అని చెప్పి సాయిబాబాకు వ్యతిరేకంగా పాటలు పాడితే ఈరోజు పాలక ప్రభుత్వాలు సత్యసాయి జిల్లా అని చెప్తారు, గోరా గారి పేరు పెట్టచ్చు, లేదా ఇంకా చాలా మంది స్వాతంత్ర సమరయోధుల పేరు పెట్టచ్చు. అలా కాకుండా ఓట్ల కోసం, సీట్ల కోసం దేవుణ్ణి వాళ్ళ ఇంటి వెలవేల్పుగా చేసుకొని దేవుడి ద్వారా కూడా మతోన్మాదాన్ని, ఉన్మాదాన్ని, మూఢనమ్మకాలను పెంచేటువంటి పాలక ప్రభుత్వాల నేపథ్యంలో ఈరోజు కేంద్రంలో భారతీయ జనతా పార్టీ ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్ ఎజెండా తీసుకొని వచ్చేసి పాఠ్యాంశాల్లో ముఖ్యంగా ఒకప్పుడు నేను యూనివర్సిటీలో చదివే సందర్భంలో ఆయన ఫిజిక్స్లో గోల్డ్ మెడలిస్ట్ మురళీ మనోహర్ జోషి గారు, గోల్డ్ మెడలిస్ట్, పెద్ద ప్రొఫెసర్. ఆయన వచ్చేసి మంత్రాలు ఎట్లా చదవాలి, తంత్రాలు ఎట్లా చదవాలి, తాయిత్తులు ఎట్లా వేయాలి, ఎంట్రుకలు కత్తిరించుకునేప్పుడు వెంకటేశ్వర స్వామి ఎక్కడ ఉండాలని చెప్పేసి యూనివర్సిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్లోకే ఈ మూఢనమ్మకాల ఆస్ట్రాలజీని ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసినటువంటి పరిస్థితి. ఈరోజు ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టంలో కూడా అలాంటి వచ్చేసి ఆస్ట్రాలజీ వీటికి బాగా డిమాండ్ ఉంది ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా అని చెప్పేసి విద్యారంగాన్ని వాడుకుంటా ఉన్నారు. విద్యారంగాన్ని వాడుకుంటే వ్యవస్థ సర్వనాశనం అయిపోతుంది. కాబట్టి విద్యారంగం పైన కూడా హేతువాదులుగా ఉన్నట్టు వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా ఆ వైపున భావజాల వ్యాప్తి చేయాలని చెప్పేసి కోరుకుంటూ ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చినటువంటి మీకు పెద్దలకు అందరికీ అనుకోనటువంటి అవకాశం ఇచ్చినందుకు నిర్వాహకులు కూడా ప్రత్యేకమైనటువంటి విప్లవాలు తెలియజేస్తా ఉన్నాను.
Thank you very much, Ishwaraya garu. In fact, it's good to hear a youth voice also. And now, finally, I know it's lunch time. Just before we close, we request, Dr. Power, Suez, Sugati, and Hasil to kindly felicitate the dignitaries with mementos. Dr. Power is a radiologist. His son of Suez, Power and Suez are children of Ravuri Arjun Rao and Manorama. Power is a radiologist, and Suez was previously the former director of State Women Commission. Sugati is the daughter of Maitri, and she is right now an advocate, and Hasil is working in the field of management. So I request Power to kindly give the memento to Amardev Sharma. Suez to kindly hand over the memento to Kumaresanji. And both of them are grandchildren of Gora as well, please. And we have got Sugati to hand over to Amit Pal. Hasil to kindly hand it over to Shakti Adimarku. Mr. Nageshwar Rao to Uttam. Nageshwar is son-in-law of Dr. Samaram and Rashmi. Bhavya to kindly hand over to Avinash Patilji. Bhavya is Mrs. Hasil. Hasil kar diya. Then now Chunav to kindly hand over to Mr. Sumit Singh. Richta to Dr. Dhaneshwar Sahuji. Suez to kindly hand over to Don Bakar. Hasil to kindly hand over to Ishwarai Garu. Of course, I request Sugati to hand over to Narendra Naik ji. We recognize the presence of Ms. Manorama as well as Dr. Maru and Niyanta. And also just finally to close, I just would like to reiterate the fact that the pillars of strength of Atheist Center have always been Rahul Arjun Rao, who is no more, who recently passed away, and Chindupati Shashkir Rao, and Chindupati Vidya, Lagnam, Hemalata, Maitri, Vereya, Vijayam, Sumati, and now Gora. So all of them have been stalwarts, and they have always been part and parcel of celebrating various atheist, humanist and rationalist conferences here, as well as in secular social reform activities. So we recognize their invaluable contribution for the movement, as well as for sowing seeds of reason as well as secular reform in the state of Andhra Pradesh and across the country. So I just would like you to all to applause for their incredible contribution. Thank you very much.
Please download Samaram multi-channel app and watch your favorite channels from your mobile. App available on Google Play Store and subscribe to the channels.